All right, we're live. We're live.
All right.
We got Ed, the old tech guy, and myself, Joe Burgess. What's going on out there, guys?
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah, what's happening? What's happening? A little late today, but hey, we're all up.
Let's see here. I'm doing this ad hoc. So usually I would be doing this in my office.
Yep.
And because it's a little late, I didn't want to disturb anybody in my office, so I actually had to change rooms. So you'll have to excuse me. You'll hear a little more noise in the beginning here, but it'll get better here in a second. And I'm gonna try to log on too on a PC so that I can keep up with people's comments. Let me shut off the light. I think I had way too much light there for a second. One more. All right. Let's see what's going on. So, Joe, I have a few questions for you, bro. You're a pro mechanic, man. I got some crazy stuff that. So I'm a big hobbyist, and I'm a giant Honda fan, man. I'm all about Honda, bro.
I was gonna give it to you because you have the Honda hat on.
Hey, man, come on, dude. I love Honda. I don't know about you, man, but that Honda rocks, bro. Right? Yep. So that I'm a big believer in Honda's in Honda's cars. I'm a big believer in Honda's, even their small engines and motors and stuff. Awesome product, right? So
Honda Civic, man, good car.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's what I'm saying. It's just you want a good car, you want a reliable car, you get a Honda, man. And then if you want to make it into a speedster, man, you go ahead and make it into a speedster. I love Hondas, bro. So here's the funny thing, right? I do a lot of side work.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot of side work is an exaggeration. I do some side work on Hondas and Toyotas and stuff like that because I like to work on them. And people know I'm a hobbyist, and they'll bring them to me to work on them. So I think it's kind of interesting that a lot of YouTubers out there and some mechanics have said that Hyundai is the big up and comer, right? So Hyundai has been producing some of the best cars. They're saying that it's the Honda the Honda of the 90s that Honda isn't anymore. So in 2014, I don't know if you've run into this, but Hyundai recalled a bunch of their engines, right? They had these major recalls, they're replacing it. And now they're I've had somebody bring me their 2015 Hyundai, trying to remember what it was. If it's the SUV model, excuse me. And their SUV model, it's oil's disappearing out of nowhere. Yeah. So I'm like, crap, I just did the oil change. What are you talking about? It's disappearing. So they brought it over. Go ahead.
They call those an oil consumption motor. And Toyota has one. And I'll tell you something, when you're getting in there and like say you're your Joe customer, you're looking at your oil, you pull a stick and you're like, oh wow, this thing looks low. Oh, this what's going on? Is it leaking? What else could it be? But a lot of times what they call oil consumption motor, and that will be a big key player of that. So I would say that they're using the same type that Toyota was using, the oil consumption motor.
Yeah. So I read on some of the forums, right? All us geeky guys that like to souk up cars. We're all over the interwebs, with all our advice that is not necessarily professional. And I come to find out that they were suggesting for some weird reason to try to replace the PCV valve. So I went ahead and replaced the PCV valve. And I know it's not going to do anything, Joe. I know it's placebo effect for me. But I'm just going to do it, right? And I did it. And I replaced the oil again with some 5W20. And I only use Mobil 1. I'm real picky about my brands, as you could tell. See, I'm real picky. I like my brands. I got my opinions of my brands. And I used Mobil 1 full synthetic 5W20 mobile oil filter. Put that in there, and I'm asking the customer to drive it for a little bit, and then tell me how, what happens. But I think Hyundai needs to own it up, man. They give a 100,000-mile warranty for 7 years or 5 years, I think it is, and 100,000 miles. They give that warranty. Why is it that they will not recall the 2015s, but they recall the 2014s and the 2013s, the Sonatas and other cars? Man, I know Honda has its own problems right now with the oil dilution, which is the opposite. But I mean, I've never had problems like that with a Honda, and that's why I like Honda. I can't believe this is happening with Hyundai. Are you seeing that with 2015s?
I'll tell you what. We had one come to the shop maybe, two of them come to the shop maybe 2 years ago, say. The biggest problems I've seen on those cars is on the pans. They're pretty weak structurally, and what ends up happening is towards the top, there's like when you crank down the bolt, usually you want a good feel of how tight the bolt's going on. You don't have to drive it home and crank it. So what ends up happening is if you tighten it too much, the pan starts to stretch, and you end up developing a hairline crack, and then you lose oil that way. And we had one engine lock up because of that, and somebody wasn't paying attention. The oil was coming out of it, and eventually they just waited for the red idiot light to come on. And when that came on, they just locked up the motor.
Oh man, and that's my fear. That's my fear, is that this customer is going to lock up that motor, and yeah. I'm deadly afraid because I've touched it now, right? But I know I did my job right. Look, Joe. People make fun of me because. So I'm just not kidding around. I actually am an engineer, but not an engineer when it comes to mechanical engineering or things of that nature. I actually work in the IT networking, but I'm real picky at the way I do things. And
well, I'll tell you what,
I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what. There's nothing at all wrong with that, as long as it sounds to me like you're following the guidelines that should be followed. Like, you put 520 in, you're using a full synthetic, which is very good. And then the other thing too is you're putting the correct amount in too, because if you put the wrong, type of oil in, and you put the wrong viscosity, a lot of people say, just put any old oil in it. You know what I mean? And
no,
and you can't do that. It has to be 9 times out of 10, the full synthetic's the best to use. And the other thing too is underfilling, overfilling. You know what I mean? You don't want to do either or. That's the two things you don't want to do. And with GM is very critical, because GM uses like a Dexter equivalent oil. And
yeah,
if you're not following those guidelines, it's pretty easy to lock the engine up, because it's very crucial using the correct engine oil for the car.
Yeah, the funny thing is that the excuse me, I got this little tickle in my throat. It's driving me nuts. The funny thing is that I'm so picky about the way I do my oil changes. I put 4 quarts in, right? I buy the big 5-quart bottle, sure. And I put the 4 quarts in, and then that 0.2 quarts or that point whatever quarts, I bought the special measuring cup that I also use for small engines when I'm mixing the gasoline and the when it's 2-cycle versus 4-cycle. And I use this cup for everything, so I make a perfect measurement. And before anybody says it, I absolutely run some brake cleaner or something in there and make sure it's completely clean for the next time. So I put it exactly the way it is. I measure it. I check it. And I've asked the customer to go ahead and drive it. Mm-hmm. And every time they get to their destination after a long drive, this is the suggestion I said, please check your oil, take a picture, and save it, because you're going to need it for Hyundai.
Yeah.
But I'm concerned that we're going to have to go have this fight with Hyundai that I really don't want to have. I even just called a dealer to ask the question, and the first thing that came out of the dealer's mouth was, we're not replacing the engine. And I'm like, you don't even know what I'm talking about yet. We're not even at that stage yet.
Yep.
They're like, no, those cars don't have engine problems. That we're not replacing that engine.
Yeah.
And I said, Yeah, go ahead.
To be honest with you, I've heard that story in a lot of times. Actually the one with the hairline crack, they said it's a common problem on those cars, and we told them, okay, see what Hyundai has to say. They took it to Hyundai, and they go, this is a common problem. What are you guys gonna do? Oh no, there's nothing we can do about it. So they sent it to us. We put it in, and that was the end of it. But they caught it in time where it didn't lock up the motor. But luckily, it was caught in time. So.
Yeah, Grimmute's got an interesting information. A good. He said something really cool in the comments here, and I want to repeat it. But before I do that, I want to say, Clayton, hello, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining the stream. Jay Hu, always glad to see you, bro. You're a good guy for joining the stream. Thank you very much. Grimmute, you're totally on the spot here. Look, he says, I got a shop manager that says oil type 5W10 doesn't matter. He wants me to run 5W30 in my Silverado because that's what oil we have in bulk. Man, dude, look, I'm Joe Burgess. He's a pro, right? He's a pro. I'm a hobbyist. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't play that game, bro, because let's say you do run 10W30 and somebody records that, okay? And let's say your engine breaks and it breaks under the 3-year, 5-year warranty that Chevy's giving you on your Silverado. You go back and somewhere somebody recorded that you've been using the wrong oil on there, or the heavier oil that is not for your region. You just lost your warranty. It's gone.
Exactly, and I'll tell you what. When I worked at a Ford dealership. We're not going to name names, but same thing. They're like, oh, just throw any old garbage in there. You know what I mean? And it's an enterprise car. I don't care. And hey, I don't want to be loosening up the motor mounts and pulling the damn motor out, and putting a junkyard motor in there. No way.
Yeah, man. I think it's unscrupulous, and that's somebody's car, man. That's somebody's livelihood. They need that to get to work. They need that to. I mean, this customer right now, she's out of a car. It was a big to do. I'd hate to see people get in trouble when their car goes down.
They have to get to work every day.
Absolutely. Grimmute follows that up with he told me it means temperature. So he's explaining that it has a dependency on the temperature and it's not the viscosity. Well, that's not totally true. It is and it isn't. So you've got a weight, right? So you got 10W and then 30, and it's different weights. Now, between 10W30 and 10W20, the weight is very, very similar, but it's still just a little bit thicker, okay? The issue is you want a little thicker at certain temperatures. And that's why if you look at your car manual, you're going to have probably like a region of the United States or a region of the world, and they divide it. They put a line in it, and they say 10W30 here and 10W20 up here, right?
Yeah,
so
temperatures.
That's right. That's right. The thickness or the viscosity has to be thinner in hotter temperatures.
Yep.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. You keep me straight honest here. You want it thicker in cold weather. So let's say you're running that real thin stuff.
Yep, you're getting a piston flap all over the place.
And there you go. And there's your issue. Especially. Sorry, go ahead.
And people are going to wonder why. I had that happen to me in the dead of winter. It was January or something like that. And somebody said to me, I hear this noise, and I went out there, and I was like, I'm listening to it. I'm like, yeah, piston slap, because you're using a different kind of oil, and that's what it is. And you're talking like 15 degrees, 15 degrees, 10 degrees. It was cold out.
Yeah, and I get it, right? Because I got a bunch of friends that are like, hey, Ed, aren't you a computer guy? Aren't you a networking guy? Don't you know how to do internet, right? What are you talking about cars? And I'm like, the truth is sometimes hobbyists know more than some people that are in that industry, because they're more, that's their hobby, right? So where somebody spends 8 hours of work there, the hobbyist is spending 15 and smiling the whole time. I'm not saying I know more than any mechanic, and I'll tell you right now, Joe Burgess probably blows me away with his knowledge. I'm not that at that level. I am a hobbyist up to a point. I know when to call in the cavalry and say, come on in, replace that engine and do what you got to do. But I am a hobbyist to a point, and will do most of my own work.
Yeah, but you know something though? I'll tell you something right now. Just from like paying attention to details and checking stuff out. That's all you really need. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all.
So I got another one. I got another one for you, Joe. I got another one for you, because we're gonna milk your knowledge here today, bro. I mean, I'm this hobbyist, right? And I'm dying to get like a pro to give me some good info. So I've got a 2012 Honda Accord. It's my baby. I bought it brand new off the lot. And due to changes in my lifestyle and work, I work from home, and I've worked from home, now for 15 years. I haven't had the car that long, but sometimes I got to go meet customers and things like that, and I got to drive them in the car, and the car's got to look nice. But here's the thing. That's got the J engine, the Honda J engine. That had the beloved 6-cylinder. The problem, though, is that 6-cylinder has a timing belt. And here's the thing. I've talked to the dealer back and forth. I've had the dealer tell me, Ed, just drive it 10 years. He's like, the old ladies come in here sometimes. You drive it like an old lady anyways. I've got probably 20,000 miles on that 2012. And remember, I got it with 0 miles off the lot. So I just barely hit 20,000.
Okay.
So go ahead.
So your car as it stands now, you're at 20K. And you're pretty much normal driving, right? Or highway driving?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's not consistent, right? I take it for a little drive. Like tomorrow's Sunday, I'm probably going to go take it for a 15-mile drive, maybe get it on the highway real quick and come right back.
So are you wondering, like, when's a good time to replace the timing belt? Or?
Well, yeah, that's it. Because I'm being told, so I'm getting different stories, right? The manual says 7 years or 100,000 miles. I'm like a big manual guy. If the manual says that, you got to do it, man. You got to do what the manual says. The engineer that, like I'm an engineer, right? If I put the instructions in there, I know why I'm putting them in there. But we engineers, I'm going to tell you something about engineers. We will go ahead and add, like a little 15% or 3% fudge factor just in case. So maybe there's a fudge factor in there. I don't know. But my dealer told me that don't worry. I've seen that belt because it has metal on the belt, right? It's steel braided or armored braided or something like that. It's like really strong steel around it. So he said, I've seen it last 10 years on a car that's driven like yours and never needed it replaced. But I'm not a guy that likes to take chances. So what has been your experience, Joe, with seeing some low mile cars, right? And having the timing belt replaced, because this is an interference engine. If this belt breaks, my engine's gonna slap and I'm in trouble, right? I do not want that. I like my car.
I'll tell you what, 3 words: don't risk it. Yeah, under 100K, do it up. I do it at maybe 85K. To be completely honest, even maybe 75K.
Yeah. I was thinking about
engine.
Yeah, exactly. It's an interference engine.
Scariest engines to deal with a timing belt. Because you could just toast the thing. So that's I would say good, solid, firm advice. Do it about that mileage.
Yeah.
You say that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, man. And that's why I'm hey, Mars, give me a second, Joe. Could you turn that light on right there, please? My light is kind of weird effect on the video. Thank you.
Any other way, if you're running over 100,000,
thank you.
You're just taking the dice in your hand, throwing them out, and just wishing for the best.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. And that's why I kind of wanted to, and you said you were going to have the stream and you're going to invite me. I was like, man, this is awesome. Can't wait to milk your brain. because
that I do. It's just that all kinds of craziness was happening, and I just did a job shuffle today. I actually talked to the independent shop owner today, and he got me aboard. So I'll be starting next Monday. Yep.
Oh wow, awesome, man! Congratulations.
Thanks, man. So talk $2.50 more an hour. And then $1 raise for every year. So I can't lose.
Man, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome. Look, man, we all got to take baby steps to get up to our career where we want to get. Congratulations. Maybe one day you'll be a shop owner and you'll manage a whole dealership. That'd be cool, man.
The thing is this guy's a cool guy to work with, and as you know, I have my own shop here, and we've got my own slew of customers. So a lot of times, they're pretty much repeats, and they know I live. They come back, they need service, and I do it up here. So I pick and choose the jobs. So it's pretty good. So I kind of am my own boss when I get home.
Oh, that's great, man. That's great. Does the shop let you do a little bit of side work like that? You think they're going to get frustrated because
the new one I'm going to actually I'm not too sure just yet. I mean, the shop owners know me because I've done all his front end alignments and stuff like that. Sometimes other work he has like sublet work. Sometimes he sends a sublet work, and we end up doing it. So, but most of the time I was this alignment guy. There's a couple other shops I do alignments for them too, and but this guy, he just came right into the shop and says, "Hey, I'm going to pull you out of the shop. Do you want a job? I'm gonna pay you more money and all this other stuff." So it was a no-brainer, man. So it was good.
Yeah. So Grimute is talking a lot about Ford when they took over Volvo. Hey, Grimute, absolutely great point, man. And again, I'm talking from a hobbyist point of view. And again, I'm a big Japanese fan. I'm not necessarily deep in Ford and Volvo. But you're right. From my standpoint, Volvo has really changed the game to the worst. They used to be such a reliable little tank. I remember seeing those cars here in Chicago, anyways, in the Midwest, rusting apart, falling apart. But those engines and transmissions still ticking away, man.
Ford's actually dabbling with Mazda too. I don't know if that's such a good idea. Chrysler's starting to get into like Fiat and BMW, and not so good, man. Not so good. They gotta. I just like a lot of those manufacturers. I'm not really too crazy about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they sorry guys, I usually do this stream in my office, and you're gonna have to put up with me making small adjustments here because I'm using my little stand-up little kit here that I use to make my videos because I'm so professional that I do everything on my phone. Wait, hold on. Before I say that, Jay Who does everything on his phone. I only do the videos and other parts of it on my phone. I can't believe how much he actually does on his phone. He actually edits and does everything. Sorry, Jay Who, I'm giving up your secrets. But I don't edit on my phone. But I do the video on my phone, and I have my lights on my phone and everything. So I'm looking at my video here, and I'm seeing myself. I'm angled. And tell me, guys, if I'm angled or I sound weird or anything, or the video's not right.
On my screen, you sounded pretty good.
Okay. You're right. Okay, good. Yeah. Perfect.
The only question I have for you, though, is can you see the comments?
I can see the comments because I have a computer to my right.
Okay.
Oh, this right, or wherever it is, and I'm looking. When you see my head turn, I'm looking at the comments there.
Yep.
Yeah. So, by the way, hey, congratulations! You hit 26 subscribers, right? You're doing good, man. You're coming up.
Thanks.
And I think, and dude, I think you and I were talking about your channel, like any advice I could give. And by the way, my advice is really worthless because I'm not that big.
I wouldn't say that, man. I definitely wouldn't say that.
Oh man. Oh man, no. The Bear is big, or Justin Dow is big. Heck, Eric the Car Guy is big. Chris Fix is big. Those are big guys. I'm a little guy.
Small though, man. They had at one time they had like maybe 10 subscribers at one time.
That's right. We all start somewhere, man. Well, but you got something really cool because you got a shop in your house, and I think it's funny because we all have our challenges, right? So my challenge is, even though I'm an engineer, I'm an expert in something that my videos kind of touch on, but are not 100% of. You actually will make videos specifically on what you do and what you know at work and what you're an expert on. So you will command expertise in that, but your challenge is more like the technical video and all that stuff. And my issue is not the video and the technical stuff, but it's being the expert of these things, right? And people have called me out, like Jay Hu talking about my getting that tool, and I couldn't put it together, and it took me a 14-minute video to get that trimmer set up because it gave me trouble. Hey, I never said I was a tool engineer.
a lot of times, I did the video on my Coach 30-40, and it took me 4 takes before I actually got one where I'm mounting the tire on. The other ones, I'm like muscling the thing on. I'm like, trying to get it on there. And I was like, man, this is crazy. If I was at work, it took me one shot deal. It would have been so much easier. But,
yeah, man.
He has a trouble sometimes in a video, you know?
I did a video where I fixed my wife's stove because we got this expensive Bosch stove, and all of a sudden it's doing that ticking thing, that annoying ticking thing, and nothing lights, and it's like, man, dude, I did not buy this expensive stove to have these issues. It's supposed to be a tank, and come to find out it's having these issues. I'm fixing it and making a video, and it's taking me twice as long. And meanwhile, my wife can't cook, so the family's looking at me like, "Man, we're hungry. We're hungry. We don't like eating out. We like Mama's food." So,
you know, sometimes it takes a little bit to get there. You know?
Yeah, especially with videos and stuff. And Joe, I'll tell you right now, if you want me to be goofy and start saying jokes and rate that meme, I'm happy to do it. But you know, I thought we'd start off a little serious. We'd talk about some cars and stuff like that. But you tell me, man. It's your stream. You're driving, brother. Let me know how you want to go.
We'll mix it up, man. We'll take it as it comes. You know what I mean? We'll get in there. Absolutely.
All right. All right. So Joe, what car won't you buy? That's another question I have for you.
Okay, this is gonna be a surprise to a lot of people, and you know, a lot of people will be like, why? You know, and this is one car I definitely would not buy, is a BMW. You know, because every time they come into the shop, they're always, you know, even today, for example, you know, the assistant manager, the head tech, looked at actually, we didn't know what it was in for. And I grabbed the RO because I was pulling cars out because I had to get cars in to start the day. So I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh, boy. You know, and they're like, nah, this thing's going to the dealer. Because 9 times out of 10, that like 85% of the engine is plastic. So it's engineered to break. The suspension, I mean, you're talking like $1,500 for like air actuated struts. You know, people like, oh yeah, you know, it's a $75,000 car. But then when you take it into the shop, it's $3,000 every time you go in there to fix it. You know, so BMW is probably on my top of the cars I wouldn't buy. You know, then you go ahead.
I was just going to tell you, I've learned my lesson on a few cars, and I'm looking at the comments, and Grimmute's making some great points, and I'm dying to speak to them. So hold on, Grimmute. I had heard how great German engineering was because of the BMW, and I bought myself a Volkswagen Passat because it's what I could afford. I couldn't afford a BMW. So that Passat gave me problems to no end, and I bought it brand new off the lot. Thank God nobody was hurt, but it was totaled, and thank God it was totaled. That way I didn't have to deal with it. When I was younger, though, oh, look at my buddy Dale Lucent's on. What's up? The console is here. Nice. I did end up driving a Mustang for a little while, and I'll tell you what, I got this beautiful Mustang. Everywhere I drove, people give me looks like it's amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thing starts ticking, man. Engine is clicking. It's going crazy, man. I've got a ring or something busted. I take it back to the dealer, and they're like, "How are you driving this? You must be racing." "Oh, I know you young kids and racing." And I'm like, "Dude, no, man. You don't know me. I baby my cars. Man, I do my own oil changes. I keep I showed them all my notes, and I'm like, look at my tires. They don't look bald. They're like perfect. If I'm driving it like a racing and stuff, wouldn't I have wasted my tires?" They just put it right on me, man. And I got so mad. I said, you know what? Screw Ford. I'll never buy a Ford again. Jumped in that Mustang, drove it, and that's when I bought the Passat, because I had heard about how great German engineering was. And after that Passat, my buddy was telling me how great Japanese cars. And then I got into Japanese cars, and man, I've never turned back. I've never turned back. Easy to troubleshoot, easy to understand. The diagrams are all right there, and if you want parts, China just drops them like crazy, man. And so does Japan, and so does everywhere else in the world. You get easy parts for all those cars.
I will go from if it was me, I'm pretty much there with you. I would say Asian, and then American in its heyday, yeah. Nowadays, sometimes, but European, I'd stay miles away from.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. And if you are, please don't take it, the wrong way. That's you. Everybody can be a fan of their own thing. It's my opinion. It's what I think. I'm not saying I'm right. It's my own thing. I know how to work on Japanese cars. I feel very comfortable working on Hondas. Yep. I don't feel comfortable working on other stuff. I know what fits.
Coming from me, I'll tell you that right now, because like I said, we're talking about like the home shop and stuff like that. I'm picking and choosing my own jobs. You know what I mean? If it's something I'm gonna shy away from because I think it's gonna turn into a big headache, I'm just like, nah. You know what I mean? I turn it away. If it's something that's gonna be interest, it's gonna get a couple of bucks out of, sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. But that's I mean that's how I would say that.
So Joe, tell me. I'm going to change the subject a little bit, but Joe, tell me what are you? And I'm going to put you out there, bro, because I know you're bringing me on your show, but I'm interviewing you, so I'm going to interview you a little bit.
No.
What are you trying to do with this YouTube thing, man? Where are you going with it? Tell me your thought.
I'm trying to, I'm just trying to see what happens. I mean, I like this kind of stuff, throwing some videos up there, like when people check them out, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So that's pretty much where I'm at with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're doing it for fun. You want to make money. You want to make some. You want to make. Hey Jay, I saw you shoot me a message, bro. I can't see it. I'm using my phone as my camera, and it's being blocked by the stand. I'm sorry, bro. I'll tell you what. If you could text my wife, I'll ask her. I'll see it from there. Is that okay? Sorry, Jay. Yeah. Tell me. I'm sorry. I interrupted you, Joe. Are you trying to make some money from this? Are you trying to make this just a hobby? What are you doing, man? Just
I like I like the fact that like someone's checking it out. They're digging it. And that's pretty much what it's all about. The money factor. I mean, I don't really care about that. You know what I mean? Because that's for me, it's just to have a good time. And say a few people here and there check out the videos. Yeah, I'm liking them. That's all right.
Hey, Gramute, that's a Massachusetts accent, man. That's I can't even do it right. Mine gets all southern. It gets all mixed up. But it's the car's over there. That's the Massachusetts accent. And the council was talking about that, man. We were talking about your accent, and we were saying, hey, Joe Burgess does a video. It's Joe Burgess because he's like, hey, everybody on the car over there on the microphone. Like, what?
Yeah, every once in a while it gets thick. You know what I mean? So think of.
The accent gets thick and then you don't have your microphone, buddy. You got to use a microphone, please.
I'm working on that.
Good. You're giving gold, and I'm sitting here like I can't hear you. Please repeat that.
Thank you so much for that. You know.
Yeah. No, man, dude, you're doing some cool stuff with some tools. I was telling you that you should do some videos where you get those big machines. And just put some like classical music behind it, and just do a quick 3-minute video of like shaving a bolt and all that. I
read that in one of your comments. I actually started to consider that. You know, I think what I'm gonna do is if I use the bare brake lathe, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a drum, and I'm gonna do that. I think because I kind of wrote it time around. I never got to edit something like that in. So I think what I'm gonna do is next time around I'm gonna cut a drum. And we're going to try that out. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Joe, you know who I saw that? I've seen do that is AVE or Avi. I've heard him say his name. It's Avi. I don't know if you watch this channel. Giant YouTuber.
I've seen a couple times.
Yeah, he's a big guy, man. And I've seen him do it. Sometimes I'll sit there and watch some of his videos where he was working on a metal lathe, right? And he was like shaping some aluminum. I was enjoying it so much. I fell asleep to the video, but that's a good thing. Usually, if I don't like it, I'll turn it off. If I fall asleep to your video at night, that means it's good. That's a good thing. So, by the way, Dale's saying over here he's got a question for you, and it's a technical question. He says, "Hey Joe," I'm going to try to do Dale Lucid here for a second. "Hey Joe, my son-in-law has a solstice that seems to have excess fuel blow by in the oil for a low mileage car." Wait a minute, hold on. I can't do that accent. I can't do this. I can't do a Dale Lucid and read this comment. Give me a second.
Love Dale.
Yeah, I love Dale. I love him. He's my boy. It says, "Hey Joe, my son-in-law has a solstice that seems to have excess fuel, known as blow-by, in the oil for a low-mileage car. I was thinking since it stays so warm in Phoenix, he should switch to 5W40 or 10W40. What are your thoughts?"
He's got excess blow-by, and it's a low-mileage car?
Yeah, he's saying it's a low-mileage car, right? And and he's got excess fuel or blow-by. So what I'm wondering is what Dale's saying here is that are you ending up with fuel in the oil, Dale? Is that what you're saying? Because when you say excess fuel, sometimes that's the
blow-by usually means exhaust fumes treated through the valve cover with a PVC valve. And the the pistons are just pushing it right up and through, and it's making its way through there. I don't fuel would be like excess fuel would be like the fuel regulator would be working too hard, or something like that. But the blow-by would be like maybe there's an O-ring, maybe possibly that's torn, or it's either maybe torn or it's worn out, or something like that. I don't think I would stick to the manufacturer's recommended oil on the cap. I wouldn't unless the temperature is a certain amount, that I'd maybe check that chart. That's where I would start with that.
Yeah, and it looks like you've got a few others asking the same question I'm asking, like Grimute saying, "Are you getting fuel in the oil?" Yeah, Dale, we need you to be a little more specific there. I mean, Joe described blow-by correctly. I just want to make sure. He's like, "Oh crap! Of course the PVC, but no codes or PCV valve." Yeah,
I would
always change the PCV valve.
I would stop there, because usually blow-by, that's the PCV valve usually prevents blow by. So, you know, like I said, though, it's either if you take that and shake it, it's all clogged up. You look up in there's a screen, it's all clogged up. 9 times out of 10, you will get blow by. You know,
man, dude. Hey, Dale. We need to help. We need to help Joe Burgess start doing some of his you know, his video cards. You know, before the video starts, you got that card that shows you what the video is going to be. Joe, we got to get you. We got to get you some glasses like Scotty Kilmer. You got to be like, I hate it, whatever it is. You can just start.
Exactly what you're talking about.
You can start answering questions like Joe answers questions on cars. and all you got to say is Toyota is awesome. Everything else sucks. And when they tell you, whenever they ask Scotty, it's like, hey, I got a 1975 Chrysler, and it's doing this. It's like, it's because it's not a Toyota.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff's been said. But you know, I'm gonna tell you like it is, man. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You know, when it comes down to it, I work on these things, and I'll tell you something. You know, I'm going to tell you what usually is a piece of junk and what you're going to have luck with, you know?
Yeah. So Joe, looks like Dale is clarifying, and I think he was mixing up blow by, or maybe wasn't, but okay. we got some clarifications here. He's saying that he is getting excess fuel in the oil. This is known to happen on Honda engines. So from what I know about Honda engines, and when this happens to them, it's changing the oil is not going to fix it, bro.
No,
at least from my, that's not going to fix it at all.
I don't think so. No.
The only thing that I would say could possibly fix it is, actually driving it on the highway and letting that engine heat up and letting some of that fuel go into the catalytic converter or some of that junk actually heat up, go into the catalytic converter, get burnt out and everything. Low mileage Honda engines are doing that. And actually you're seeing that issue right now with the oil dilution problem in the new Honda engines that have a turbo. That's my next question for you. Does that Honda have a turbo? Because if it has a turbo, then yes, the issue is he needs to put it on that highway, drive it for 45 miles at whatever top speed it is. He's got to get it hot and bring it back home, and that's going to be the issue. In the meantime, change your oil more regularly. So if you're changing it at 3,000, man, every mechanic's going to want to hit me. Man, change it at about 2,500 or about, as close to 3,000 as you can, but change it. Don't let it go over, because you get too much oil in that case, you're going to crack something, you're going to break something, you're going to hate yourself for it.
Well said, and I'll tell you something else. Changing your oil regularly, a lot of times, mechanics will say, well, 5,000, 7,000, you hear all different types of things, but like you said before, 2,500, you're not going to end up with sludge. You're not going to end up, with gummed out valves, all this other stuff. And, it's a good idea. It's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, exactly. That's so Dale, just, I'm sorry, I'm making weird faces. I'm telling my wife, I'm hungry. I just got home from work. So Dale is saying that it's a Pontiac with a turbo. It's not a Honda with a turbo. Sorry, but problem is the same. Is the same. Oil dilution, you're not heating it up enough. Changing the oil is not going to fix that. You're actually going to hurt your engine. And dude, with anything so-called American made, because by the way, Hondas have more American made parts than anybody else. I don't care who. Tell me different in the comments. Come on, tell me different. I'm sorry. Honda is very much made in America. That's what I love about it. But when it comes to Pontiac, man, dude, I would do exactly what that manual says. I would not play with anything American like that. They have a tendency to go bad fast.
Yeah, I agree. I'll agree with you. And another thing too, turbos. When you're dealing with turbos, that leaves a lot of variables.
Oh, so Dale. Oh, Dale's a big. He's a car nut here. He's saying they just switched it to a high performance cat, so that should help. That may actually not help. Test it out. I don't know. What do you think, Joe? Let's get Joe's opinion on this.
I mean, switching it up to a high performance cat, that might make a little bit of a difference. In performance, you know, that, I mean, I would say it may play a little bit of a part in performance. You know, not huge, but a little bit.
Yes, I know, Jehu. It's not a Honda. What the heck is Ed talking about? Yes, I know it's not a Honda. It's a Pontiac. It's a Pontiac. I got it. But the whole turbo issue, see, the cars, what's happening with modern cars today is that they're taking these small engines and they're sticking a turbo on it, and they're making them little speed demons, or so they think. When what you would really do to make it a speed demon is throw a 6-cylinder in that little body, and that thing would be a monster, right? Or imagine putting a V8 in that little thing. That's why Ferraris have 10-cylinder engines or 12-cylinder engines in them, and they're this fiberglass or this, you know, this little light car. That makes it a true speed demon. So this is the poor man's speed demon by putting a turbo on it. The problem is that there is oil dilution problems with no matter what car with a turbo. So the way you fix that is you got to drive it. You got to get it on that road, man, and you put a turbo on it for a reason, man. You got to drive it.
Yeah, exactly. A turbo, you have to get hot. That's the thing with a turbo. You have to have it hot. When a couple of years ago, we had a Fusion with a turbo in it. I think it was a what the heck was it? I can't remember, 2.4, I think, something like that. And it had the EcoBoost in it with turbo, and that thing constantly was having problems with the turbo. You know what I mean? And every time we turned around, the head tech would actually take the turbo, and don't ask me how he did this, but he welded something inside there to fix it, and to this day I still don't know what he did, but it worked for a few months, and then 5 or 6 months later the guy come back with the same PO code, you know. It would work. It's just the things are so sensitive, you know. You gotta get them hot. So Ed, get on subject for a second. What did you think of those cars? I made that quick video on the other day.
Those are some slick cars, bro. Those are some slick cars. I
Ford.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you, because you showed some slick cars there, and I was like, man, dude. But I'll bet you he doesn't know what classic car I'm in love with. So, and I have said this before in some other videos, but you know, I get it. No, you can't watch everybody's videos. Everybody's busy. What's my car? What do you think it is? Take a guess.
What your classic car is?
Yes.
Let me think. How about 57 Chevy?
Man, that's close, man, because that's right up there with me, man. It's a 1963 Stingray Corvette. Okay, that's my dream car.
GM.
Split window. I mean, and the reason I love that car is different than why most other people love cars. I actually, there was a stupid, goofy 80s show called Stingray. It's all about this detective who drove a Stingray. And when I was a kid, I thought it was going to be cool, like Knight Rider, but the car wasn't smart. So I was like, what the heck's wrong with it? But when I noticed the car, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the lines. I fell in love with the chrome. I fell in love with the sound of the engine. Oh my God. And I'm still in love with that car. And I was told by a big time car nut that if you look at that car sideways, it's a woman lying down, or half a lady lying down is what the engineer designed it around. And if you look at it above, it's a female's form, like this way. It's like the Mach 5 too. If you look at it from Speed Racer, if you remember the cartoon, it's got that shape. And I don't know if that just hints to our primal senses or something, but I'm in love with it. And what I mean by that, by the primal senses, is some of you may know that I actually draw and paint and did that. So, you know, I draw the male form, I draw the female form. I see that, and it just speaks to me. And no car is designed that way. Everywhere I go, man, I look at a car, I'm like, the closest thing to me was the Acura NSX, but it's not close enough, man. I still want it that way. Go ahead.
Those cars actually were pretty interesting. One guy, you know, the head tech there owns all of them. The only one, I think there was a couple of them that he didn't own. I think it was like a '68 Camaro, and there was another one. There was a '88 Grand National, I think. Yeah, so it was like the '29 Ford, the '54 Ford truck, and actually his son owned the 34. I'm sorry, the 35 Ford. You know.
Hey, Joe, do you happen to have Jehu's number?
I do not.
You do not. He wants to come on. Should we get him on here? What do you think?
Yeah, we could get him on.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me a sec. Now my camera's going to go all wonky. Don't pay attention to me, audience. Joe, entertain them with a mechanical fact. Or I'll tell you what. Entertain them with this. Who do you think is better at the shop, Mako or Snap-on? And I'm going to send Jehu the text that you sent me. But Jehu, know this: if you're hearing me, you have to type it in. I wasn't sent a link. I was sent a picture. So write down the letters and numbers on a piece of paper, and then go to your Chrome and type those in, and it'll open up the stream for you. Or I'll see if I can somehow text it to you. Okay. I'm gonna go offline for just a sec. Go ahead, Joe.
Yep. All right. So let me see here. So you got a question?
Mako or Snap-on, buddy? What do you go for, bro?
Well, you know what? They're actually both. I think Snap-on's too much of a jewelry tool, but Mako's actually a nice one. You know, Mako's a pretty nice one.
Okay.
And you can go to Mac. You know, Mac's good. And then Cornwell, we don't have no Cornwell around, but they're pretty good too. So, but top quality of paying for it is Snap-on. You know, but I think Snap-on, I think, might be too much money. You know. So.
Well, I had another question for you. Jehu, I just shot you the link. I was able to send it as a link. So I sent it to your number ending in last two numbers 25. That's as far as hopefully I'm not giving away too much with that. Now, let me see. How do I get StreamYard back? Can you hear me, Joe? Am I still on?
Yep.
Okay. Now I just need to figure out how to go back.
Oh, I lost you, Ed. Okay.
All right, am I back there, Joe? Am I back?
Yeah, I got you back on.
All right, thank you. Let me set this back up, guys. Sorry, audience and friends.
Sorry about, man. Nothing to be sorry about.
Yeah, usually, like I said, we'd be doing this. I have my laptop and everything ready, but this is a little more interesting that I had to do it this way today, but that's okay. We're going to get through it. We're going to still have a great stream. And you went ahead and said that Snap-on is a little bit of a jewelry.
Yeah, now, they're too high-priced jewelry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think, and Joe, do you mind if I? Man, I'm taking a lot of liberties on your stream here. Do you mind if I have a little bit of my dinner here while we do this?
Oh, go right ahead, man.
Okay, good. My nephew's coming into the trade, becoming a mechanic, and he's being pushed to Matco tools. He's got to get all these tools, and I told him, man, be smart. Matco. Be smart. Yeah, I told him, be smart, dude.
Okay.
Get some Harbor Freight stuff. Get some Matco. Get some Snap-on. Mix it up. You don't got to get all Matco. And by the way, don't get those specialty tools. You don't need all of them. Get what you need.
I'll tell you what. My best, and I mean best advice I can give him. Okay. Now, is he going through the? Is he happen to be going through the whole, school-sponsored program, or?
He is. He's going through the whole sponsored program, and it's by Toyota.
Are they giving them the? Are they giving them like the half pricing, or? Because if so,
yes, they are giving them the.
Take full advantage of that.
Really?
Yes.
Because one of the things I told them was, dude, if you don't want it or need it, buy it at 50% and sell it. I'll buy it. I'd buy some of it.
Well, yeah. I mean that's an option too. But you know what though, when you have that real nice set of wrenches that retail for big huge money, then you have them and you're like, I need them. You're like, oh, I'm so glad I have these. So I would definitely say absolutely yes to that. It's a good program, and later on down the line, I've had stuff where it's Jay.
Oh, he's getting on. I was gonna say, man, don't. Thank you, honey. Yeah.
Do I have to adjust the screen and then bring him on? Or? I think. Let's see, add the stream. There we go. What's up, Jay? What's up, my man?
What's up, guys? How's it going? How's am I coming in? All right.
Where to cook? Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you. I see you.
All right. Well, so far so good, man.
Hey, man, we were talking cars, bro, and I know all you want to talk about is a 1987 Buick Regal, bro. So
no. I got my faves. I'm in love with the old cars. You guys can keep the new ones.
I think I had that 1970 Pontiac Le Mans for Jay Who in that video. I think was I right on that one?
Yeah, the thing I love about that car is that you can lean the seat back. I got to lean my seats back.
Oh, that seat will go back.
That's how I roll. Actually, if I ever have the opportunity, I'm gonna get my first car again, which was a 1974 Fleetwood Cadillac Brougham.
Thank you, honey.
I just love the cruise. Nice. I love the ride around. I'm not too worried about speed. I know I'd kill myself if I had something fast.
Hey, those things are like riding on a cloud. I don't blame you.
Yes, slow and low, baby. Slow and low. That's how I like it.
Yep.
But
I have a 2000 Mercury, and that thing rides like it's on cloud,
Yeah. But when I finally get my car, I'm definitely gonna throw like 415s in the trunk. I gotta have my music.
Hey, and therein lies where American car manufacturers lost their game. You know what? When the Japanese cars came in and people were buying them because they were light on fuel and things like that, it would have been okay and smart to make some cars to compete with that, but continue making the big beasts that were just big boats and smooth, because there's one thing that I miss from every American car. We're talking about like a 1985 Cadillac, DeVille, Seville. You get in that, man. Holy crap.
You can drive over a construction site and feel like you're on a smooth, freshly paved road.
Exactly.
And then you're talking about room for your family. There's no issue there. There's no problem.
Yep. Absolutely.
It was a giant car, right? You'd get in a wreck and you'd bust, you'd hit a building and the building would fall down. The car would be okay. I mean, that is American manufacturing, and they should have stuck to their guns because look at what Chrysler did. They busted out this car that what is that? What is that? The Ranger or what's that new car with the classic '70s body that came out right now?
Not the PT Cruiser. The
no. No, it's the other one. It's like I can't remember what it's called. It's come on, guys in the audience, help a brother out. I think it's like a Ranger. No, that's not the right word.
The one,
anyway.
The one Chevy HHR. No, it wasn't HHR. Are you talking? Now you're talking Chrysler, right? Geez, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Chrysler. Here, I'll look it up real quick.
Hey, Grimmy, how's my mic sound? I'm looking at the comments. He says my mic is too low. How's
really?
It? Yep. I don't know. Is it coming through or what? Let me know, Grimmy. The Challenger? He's asking the Charger.
That's what it is. That's what it is. The Charger, the Challenger. That's the kind of name. Thank you, Grimmy. Man, I knew one of you guys. I knew you guys would get it. They made that car look like that. Now, because everybody likes it. But it's not the same, man. They should have made that car. They should have made that car, thrown an old school V8 made of aluminum instead of iron because there's a reason why nobody liked iron engines.
No, did you notice on those cars? The funny thing was the only car in those classic cars I showed you guys. I think the only car with the original engine was that 35 Ford. It had the V8 flathead. The other ones had actually no, I'm sorry. The 70 Le Mans actually had the 354 barrel, but the other ones had like a Buick 350. The other one had like an Oldsmobile 350 Rocket. I think that was a 29 Ford. But yeah, those are yeah. He builds cars.
How's this sound?
And he builds motorcycles too. You know, so one of these days I got to tell you guys. One of these days I'm gonna go down to his home shop and probably shoot a couple of his videos, a couple of his, a couple of things he's doing. You know, he comes up with some interesting.
Hey, so excuse my fault of I guess I can't map it in my head without Google Earth, but from Chicago or Illinois to New York, do we go through Massachusetts at all? Can we get by there? How far is that?
Massachusetts is still past New York.
I would say you have to go through New York to get here. Yeah.
It's on the other
side. New York's probably more the square part of Massachusetts. Yeah. And then you got yeah.
Because Jehu and I would have a reason to go up to New York, but man, I'd love to see if we could escape and keep driving all the way up to Massachusetts to come see you.
Man.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Hey,
come out
up here. A lot of good stuff,
You know, Grimmy too. The Hellcat is just it's just an unbelievable beast, and I think the LS motors are catching up with that with the Hemi engines and the Hellcat engines, but it's still man, they're fast, but they're like, man, you still can't work on them. Like I'm watching this channel Goon Squads. A bunch of young kids that they buy totaled cars, and they're working on a Trackhawk right now.
Oh yeah,
man, they got no room in them though. You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely, and not just that. I was telling you the other day, three G's for a brake job, man. Yeah, yep.
I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I do like the new cars and the speed, but then. For us in the city, dude, if I tried to get a car to go 60 on a side street, I'm not even worried about the cops. I'm worried about the potholes. I hit one of those potholes, and that's $5,000 worth of damage.
Yeah,
man, that's why you need a Honda, bro.
Nah,
no issues with no Honda, bro.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, if I can work on it, I'll keep it. Like I said, I got a 2009 Ford Fusion, 218,000 miles on it. And I'm working on it right now. I talked to you about it, Joe. I'm doing the struts, the springs.
Yeah.
Actually, I had a question about the exhaust. I'm about the flexible pipe right after the manifold.
Yep.
The bolts are facing the engine.
Okay.
What tool and I think it's 14 mil.
Mm-hmm.
What's a good tool to loosen those bolts on the engine side? Or should I just cut the heads off with a grinder and put the aftermarket bolts?
I would say what to do with that is we come across this all the time. Do you have do you have anything that could like acetylene, like to sweat a pipe or anything like that to get anything hot? Like even acetylene, anything like that.
Right. Yeah. Like one of the propane.
What I would
yeah.
Get those cherry red, and then just go to the front, get those cherry red, back them off probably with an impact probably.
Okay.
So if you don't have an impact, like a nice ratcheting like socket or wrench.
Yeah, no, I got the ratchet, I got the impact wrench, but the problem is that the nuts are facing the front of the car, so I can't put the impact wrench on it because the bolts are facing towards the front of the car, and you got like the tunnel from the wheel well, the firewall.
Okay.
And I can't get anything back there. So what I'm thinking was maybe like a swivel, ratchet.
I was just gonna say take like if you can, you go half inch, take a long extension, and with either with a swivel adapter or a swivel socket, and then get on it with that and just back it off while it's cherry hot. Okay.
Do you think a crow's foot will work too?
I've never seen anybody do that, but most of the time they use either a swivel socket or they're using the swivel universal.
Okay.
So either of those two definitely would work, but get them cherry red, and they'll come out like butter.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
because I gotta change. I think it's the flex pipe, and now I found out. I think it's the flex pipe, the catalytic converter, and then it's the resonator.
Okay.
So I got a hole in the cat, and I got the broken pipe on the flex. So I gotta change the flex and the cat.
You know what? You're doing it the right way because I'll tell you one thing: a shop with that much stuff and labor involved is about under a G note.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was looking at. Yeah, because the cat itself, well, I really haven't looked around, but the first price I saw on the cat was like $300.
Yeah, I mean those run expensive. I mean, you can go like Universal, but there's a lot of work involved with that. Go for the direct fit aftermarket.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Just get it over it.
Yep, and like I said, when you get those studs and nuts cherry hot, just back them out.
All right, because I didn't get them hot on the one that holds the one that holds the flex pipe with the cat. But now that I have to change the cat, it doesn't matter. I'm thinking I'm just gonna take a Sawzall, cut that off, and then just get the bolts.
It's possible if you're not going to use it and get at them, sure. You know what I mean? If you don't care about the pipe and all that, yeah, you can do that.
Cool, cool.
But if you can, I mean, if you don't want to do that, you want to just zap them out, just blap them out of there.
Cool, cool. Hey, and another thing too, I wanted to talk to you, Joe. I'm glad I thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, man.
But
I'm glad to have you guys on here.
You are in a very, very good position right now, and no disrespect to anybody who likes to show their new tools and they do new tool reviews, and that's great, that's awesome. But Joe, you have an advantage because you have a garage full of tools.
Yes.
What I would like to see is Joe Burgess take out his oldest ratchets and say, I've had this ratchet for over 20 years. Okay. And this is why I like it. Okay. And they still make this ratchet. So you see what I'm saying? So obviously you're probably going to, let's give you an example. You'll take out a Craftsman USA that's maybe 25 years old, right? Mm-hmm. But I want you to tell me what's compatible to that one that you've had for 25 years. You know? And like I said, yes, new tools are awesome. New tools are great. They're shiny. But I want to see who, through the years, has backed up whether they're made in the USA whether they're the chrome nickel plated or the magnesium or whatever. I want you to say, listen, I bought these and these are garbage. Okay. You know, I've had them for 20 years and this keeps happening or this breaks. This is garbage. I haven't seen that yet in the circle that I know of tool guys. So I think that would be really cool because, you know, if I'm watching a review on a Sunix tool, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, this is the brand new Sunix, this and that. But that same Sunix tool from 15 years ago is garbage. You know what I'm saying? Why are you trying to sell me on this new Sunix? If it's the same one that they made 15 years ago, and that one from 15 years ago is garbage.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that it is. That was just an example.
No. I get exactly where you're headed, and I'll tell you something. You're absolutely right because, you know, if I pull out a tool, you know what I mean. I've had this tool and it's worked great for me for a long period of time. You know what I mean? And I want you to know that this has served me good, and these guys will back up their warranties and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely. You know, I don't want someone buying it, all of a sudden the chrome's peeling off it and it bends, or it's got so much mixed metals in it, the thing snaps or something. You know, I've had like a ratchet where I've had maybe, I think it was warranted, and it was warranted maybe under a year, 10 months ago, maybe. It's a Mac Tools 18-inch ratchet. I was actually going to bring it here to show you guys on the stream tonight, but I actually forgot to because I went to that garage today and I talked to the guy, you know, the independent shop owner and stuff. So, you know, and but yeah, I got.
Well, Joe, I got a question for you. Mm-hmm. Jehu brings up, by the way, Jehu, great advice, great question too. Because yes, I think you should do that, bro. Because you have a unique perspective, Joe, as to here's this USA Craftsman that's been in my family for 20 years, and that's what I've been using. And you guys could talk bad about it, or it could be Snap-on or whatever, but it's what I use, and I have no issue with it. He makes a great point. Now, from a selfish standpoint, I got the question: gear wrench or Tecton? Come on, bring it to the council. Bring it to the council.
I would say gear wrench.
Yes, gear wrench for the win. That's right, Tecton. Eat that, Tecton. Look, I like gear wrench. All right, and I have nothing against Tecton, guys. I like Tecton. Don't get me wrong.
I've only broken one gear wrench, 10mm wrench, only because I was doing an alignment. And I had a 3-foot pipe, and I stuck it on there. You know, got the fastener loosened, backed it off, and I think it just gave way. But that's because of my own dumbness, you know. So
is that why they call you? Is that why they call you the king of chrome? Because you won't use impact sockets, you'll use chrome sockets.
More chrome than anything else.
So Grim wants to know your opinion on hard tools.
Why are you being so mean, Grimmy? Why are you being so mean?
No, that's not mean to Joe. It's mean to whoever wants to buy hard tools. No, again, I don't mean no disrespect. If you need hard tools or you like hard tools, great. But you better know that they are for the very, 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 very beginner. It's what I'd give my 16-year-old kid, 18-year-old kid. I'm not crazy about hard. That's my opinion. I could be wrong.
Good opinion.
Yeah.
Look, you go out and you buy the Hart tools, you make your first $250 job, then you go out and you buy something better and throw away the Hart tools.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That, you know, if you're going to get started in something.
That's a 3 for 3 right there, Jay.
Yeah.
I'd say absolutely on that one, man.
Hey, I wouldn't go for the what? $80 that you're going to spend on a Hart impact driver. Go to the pawn shop, go to the swap meet, go to La Garra, amigos, váyanse a La Garra, and go buy yourself a Makita. Use Makita with the battery systems. Get yourself into that battery platform. Once in that battery platform, it's worth it to spend the extra money and buy the tools used. As they burn up, you're in the battery platform. Then just keep going, and keep growing it. I personally am a Makita fan. I like Makita. Buy Makita, guys. I am not affiliated. I don't get paid. Don't even try to say I'm a shill for them, because I'm not. I actually like Makita. I've been using it for a long time.
Me myself, like as you guys know, if it's a piece of junk, I'm going to tell you it's a piece of junk. And I'm sure the three of us will agree on that. We're all like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd say that the three of us, would all agree on that.
Well, that's because we're not getting paid yet.
Hey, Heavy Machinery, what's happening, man? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. We really needed you here. Thank you for coming by.
So there was another guy too. Now that you're mentioning about where to go and get some tools, this guy, I think I was trying to find it on my daughter's tablet. He actually went to a secondhand store.
Yeah.
And this is Dano's Toolbox. That's what he did. Dano's Toolbox. He got some really great tools, name brand tools from the secondhand store. So, again, and I want to reiterate this, shiny tools are awesome. Snap-on tools, you said it yourself, Joe, jewelry quality. They're beautiful.
High-priced jewelry.
But if you're gonna get started, you gotta hit that flea market. You gotta go to La Garra. You gotta hit the rummage sales. You gotta hit the yard sales.
I'll tell you something, guys. This is probably way deep into my earlier videos. What I end up doing was something on that idea. I end up showing the audience, like, well, if you go to like things like that, you're gonna end up with some set building. You know what I mean? If you concentrate on 3/8, 1/4 inch, all you do is you get a rack, and when you start cherry picking those sockets, you're gonna end up with a nice collection after a while.
Yeah.
And it might take you a while. You might find 3 or 4 here, 2 here, but once you're done, you'll have like 4 Snap-ons, you'll have 5 Craftsman, 2 Max.
Look, man, a 10mm socket takes off a 10mm bolt the same way a Craftsman, Snap-on, Matco does. If it's getting the job done, do it. If you're not abusing that socket, it usually is not going to break. Okay.
All right. Hey, give me a second, guys. Grimmy, how does this sound now? I'm taking these things, I'm throwing them in the trash. How does this sound? Does this sound better? Go ahead, Ed. Finish your thought. Sorry.
I haven't really heard your volume be that bad the whole stream. Maybe because I have good earphones on. I don't know, but so back to what I was saying. Sorry for my dog in the background. She's excited that I'm on the stream. She heard that I may possibly be buying Husky tools. She's a Husky fan. So seriously though, a 10mm socket, doesn't matter the brand name, it's going to take off that bolt, and as long as you don't abuse it, it's going to work fine. Now, if you're in a professional environment like you are, Joe, I mean, and look, don't lie, Joe. We all know you do it. You stick that chrome socket on that impact wrench, and you just start going at it because you can't find the impact socket at the moment. It's okay. We know you do it.
I'll tell you something. I can't lie. In my strut compressor video, I grabbed an Icon chrome socket and I blacked that thing off.
And look, you abused it. Right?
If you're a little close, that thing came off, right? It was like 17mm. That came right off.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So, look, it's been my experience that I have broken very few sockets, and the sockets that I have broken have been usually because I abused them. I put like the super extended long ratchet with an extra long pipe on to get that bolt off that I shouldn't have done. And instead of the ratchet breaking, the socket broke. Happens.
It happens.
I put it on the impact wrench. You're not supposed to because it's chrome. It happens. So I'm really kind of, I'm not that You know, and especially now where so much of the cars are aluminum. Now, Joe, you and us out here in the Midwest have something in common, which is we're in the Rust Belt, and that Rust Belt deals a whole other level of problem. And I get why you would want like the best sockets that could never break. But dude, I see these guys have a heart attack because they got to have the best. The snap out socket never breaks, but when it does, you were only able to afford that first set of sockets, and now you're hurting because now you need a socket to finish the job now, and you don't have it. For some of the guys that went a little cheaper to start out with and started building their kits like we were talking about before, you know what? I'll bet you they have duplicates of that socket because it's important to them.
Well, let me tell you about this. Like, if you would have filmed me this morning, like at 8 o'clock this morning, I had probably three bays filled up, not including the alignment rack. And 3 of them at once. I'm grabbing a 17 for this one. The other one, okay, that was a 17 too. I had it on that one. And then the third guy down, I think I forgot what it was. I had like maybe a 13 or something. But, you know, they're all stage up. They're all on lifts. And, you know, basically you got to have doubles and triples.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's exactly what Heavy Machinery is saying. He also says Heavy Machinery, he uses G-Door tools, Gedore. He says those are the tools his dad and his grandfather has had. So over 40 years. So yeah, there you go, Gedore. But they're made in Germany. So you know.
Well, I got to admit, I never heard of that brand, Heavy Machinery. Heavy Machinery, do you have a channel? If you do, you should review those. I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, I'd like to check that out too. Because like I said, I never heard of them either. You know, what I like to say too is the only...
It's a first. It's a first. Here we go. Breaking barriers.
the only time that I'll say like I'll crap all over, you know, a product is if I use it once and it breaks, and I've had that happen before. You know, I used the socket one time, not abused it, just a 3/8 ratchet, put it on there, and I think it just split down the middle. I said, you know something, this piece of junk, I wouldn't pay 2 cents for it. You know?
Yeah.
But then,
okay, everybody, write this down. Patrick the Machine on Instagram. Patrick the Machine.
I want to take a quick note of that. And I also want to take a note of the type of, you know, I hope he doesn't mind. I may buy a tool or two and review it because he said it was Gedore.
Yeah, that's
what he said it was.
Hey, Grimmy, how's this? Tools? I got the microphone in my mouth. Can you hear me now? He says Germany and Austria, they existed since 1919. They're expensive, but super good quality. You know who also has an awesome box? I forgot the name of it. The tool box, like the rollout boxes. And they actually have like a power strip on the bottom. It's a German. I'm going to have to look at it. No, they're really hard to get, and they're super expensive. But I've seen a lot of European guys on job sites. When I go deliver the appliances, they're using it. Then those are supposedly really good too.
I wonder if I'm trying to think. Are you talking about Lista cabinets? Lista. Lista makes
are they gray?
Real good. Some of them are, yeah. Some of them can be. I don't know if they're German made, they're American made.
No, the box that I saw is made out in Europe somewhere.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's Lista.
Yeah,
Heavy Machinery. I'll go. I'd be willing to pay for a ratchet and a few socket sets, even if it's expensive, just to give it a quick test. It'd be kind of cool to do on the channel. I'll give you full creds if I do it, because I don't know much about it. So. Thanks for giving that. That's some great advice. Or Joe, I mean, if you want to do it, please go ahead and do it. That sounds kind of cool. I've never heard of them before.
I never have. Never have either.
Yeah.
He says don't buy Gedore Red.
Yeah, don't buy the red.
Don't buy red.
Don't buy
That's
the red.
cheap line.
Got it.
Okay. Roger that.
Got it. All right. So I'm coming back, man. So let's see. What you said. What about Snap-on and Matco, man? Who's your favorite brand, Joe? Who do you go for?
If I was gonna choose between the two, I'd probably say Matco. You know, because like I said, Snap-on. You know, the only reason why I took advantage of Snap-on at the time was because they offered that incentive, and like I said, further down the road, you know, you're like, wow, you know, I'm glad I bought these. You know, but Matco was a pretty good one. You know, and they weren't crazy expensive either.
Well, you know, yesterday was an interesting. Was it yesterday or the day before? I think it was yesterday. Interesting stream with Justin Dow and Princess Jamie. I think even Chris from Client Graphics jumped on, but they were talking about the you know, your code readers, your testers, your bidirectional readers, and you know, they kept throwing out brands, and Princess Jamie was like, Snap-on, Snap-on, Snap-on. She loves Snap-on, and she was pretty hyped up on it. And everybody had different opinions. I was putting in the comments, Autel, man. I love my Autel scanner. I paid about. Go ahead.
Autel, I have to agree with you. Is a good one.
Yeah.
I would definitely say good one, because the problem with Snap-on is the big time always having to update it and update it and update it, and once they go off the week, forget about it. You got a paperweight on your hands.
Well, listen, man. Remember what Justin said. It took 3.5 years or something to get a Snap-on rep to come back out. So
that's the other problem. Exactly.
You know,
and dude, I did my research, right? I'm real picky about my stuff. I did my research. I mean, every time I buy a tool like that, I'm buying it to do side jobs. I'm buying it for fun, and I also understand that every dollar I spend like that, it's a dollar that I can't feed my kids with. So I have to spend it wisely. I got to be smart about what I'm buying. And then when I researched the Autel, they have a USA base here locally, even locally here in the Midwest. They've got a USA base. It's forever updates for as long as you own the tool.
Yep.
You just have to put the software in your computer. You have to sign up, and bam. And their warranties are amazing.
That tells me one thing: you can't lose. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Lose.
So I went Autel. All day long, and you can't change my mind. Now I have seen those big Snap-on $5,000 testing units though, and man, they're really nice. I mean, you could do everything. You can. Man,
they are, but I'll tell you something. If you buy them, you know, you buy them when they're new, and you know everything's nice bells and whistles on them, and you know you get everything done. You know, you're reading the codes, and you know it's giving you like code tips and stuff like that. Great, but once you're like, okay, you know, oh, now I got a 2018, and this thing's only updated to 2016 or something. Then it's kind of like you know, you got like Jay who said, you know, you're waiting for a rep to come in, and oh, can you update this? And that's the problem with those guys, you know. And not to mention keys. They have like key chips. Well, the older ones did. Yeah, you had to hook up the key chip, then plug it in, and then start scanning. Too many steps. You know, where Autel, you're wireless. You know, you can go around the car. You can. It's got like special, you know, like hot functions on it. A lot of things. A lot of more pros than cons on that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, right? Because you got all these different brand names, and I'm trying to remember the one that they were comparing it to in to the Autel, but and it's a famous name because they have a real pretty slick interface. The Snap-on interface is kind of nice, but no, it wasn't Bosch.
Okay,
it wasn't Bosch. It's another brand. I'm gonna have to look it up here in a minute. But the point being that they're. What was that, Joe?
Oh no! You go ahead.
Yeah, the difference being that I remember when I was researching it, that one had the real slick interface. I really liked the interface. But when I did all my research on Autel, even though it didn't have the interface that I liked, and it didn't do, it was a little more expensive for it to do the things that I wanted it to do, like bleed brakes and things of that nature. Um, I stuck to it because it was made in the USA and forever updates. Nobody else had that.
You
And
can't look.
Yeah.
You can't look that way. And I'll tell you something else. When you like you said, when you're doing like say like a brake bleed, or a lot of times cars too, you need a tool to retract the brakes to put the pads in, like BMW again, Mercedes. Then you're dealing with like sensors in the pads, all those variables. And I'll tell you something. Mercedes is like there's like three PCMs talking to one another. So you don't get one PCM, you got about three of them. And you gotta go into it's like breakout boxes and stuff like that. It's just amazing what you have to do to get there. And you don't want to be in a ghost hunt, man. You want to just find the root of the problem, what's causing the problem, and get the car fixed. You don't want to be.
They were talking about the launch. That's the one that I really liked the interface in, and it sounded cool. But I didn't decide on it because it didn't have the forever updates. It seemed there were some things to me that seemed concerning, and I did not buy it. I went for Autel.
I'd say I made a good decision because the launch, it's a good little pocket scanner, but to be honest, if say you got a side job and it was throwing some 3 or 4 codes, say, you know what I mean, you could be in a ghost hunt trying to figure out, okay, I got a misfire here, it's pulling a P0 code with a 300, like a multiple misfire code with this and this and this, and and it's really leading you on a ghost hunt. You know what I mean? And you really need that thing to work correctly. Because those things can really throw you off, especially when you're dealing with the European stuff. And that's where I find you really need a good tool with the European stuff.
Now we're talking investing some money. But if there's anybody out there who doesn't have the money to invest, go to AutoZone and they'll read you the code for free. So,
that's true.
There's always a way to do it also, and again, that goes for it all depends what you're gonna do, and I think unintentionally, I think some tool channels get you to spend money because you get so hyped up on the product that they're trying to sell you that you get so excited and you want to run out, you want to get this tool, and you're using this tool twice a year. You just dropped, hundreds of dollars, So it all depends, I just, you just got to be real careful also, where you spend this money, even if you do your own work on your own cars, you just got to be careful what you go out and get, right?
I'll tell you what, me myself, one time I ended up, this is going on Autel again. There was a job where, I felt I'd be using it a lot. And I end up actually bankrolling the money from the job to get the tool, and it paid for itself in maybe another one other job.
Yeah, and that's the flip side, right? So,
yeah. I mean, that's the nice part about that. You know what I mean? Because it does happen from time to time. And then when you want it, it's going to pay for itself. It's gonna help you out.
Absolutely.
To Jehu's point, I've seen a lot of guys. Like I got a buddy of mine. I'm not going to name names and I'm not going to call them out, but I got a buddy of mine who bought the top of the line Snap-on reader. I think he spent like $5,000 on it. That thing is amazing.
Oh, Bob. I don't know.
No, that thing can read the first generation and now the second generation adapters for like the cars in the 80s and now the cars that went beyond that, 70s, 80s, and all that. The first code readers that were like, I can't remember what it's called. What is that?
I know exactly what you're talking about. We had we had an Autel where we had I think it was a 2000 or 99 or 2000 BMW Z3, and you guys know they're not going to have the OBD2, or you can't reset that. So you had to use the round pin connector.
Yes.
And this was a tool that was maybe this is the shop scanner, and this is a tool that maybe is updated to like 2000, maybe 18 or so. And that's all you have is that adapter. Plug it in, boom. It's all good.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that, you're up the river.
Yeah. So this guy paid $5,000 for this thing, and he calls me up because his buddy asked him to read what's going on with the car, with his buddy's car, and he had slow acceleration. Something was going on. So I ran over to his house. We plugged the scanner in, and he's like, "Man, dude, I got the scanner. It's not giving me any errors. There's no lights. There's no money light on the car. There's nothing telling you what's going on with the car." So I'm like, "Dude, you want the job given to you, bro, and that's not what's happening here. This is one of those hard ones." So what I did was I busted up a scanner. I looked at each of the computers, right? Bro, and that's not what's happening here. This is one of those. So he was you got to look at each of the PCMs or each of the computers. Started looking in there, and I saw something funky, and I'm like, "Man, that voltage looks off on one of the spark plugs." And come to find out, I start looking at I start scrolling down on his unit, and I'm like, "Dude, I could look at each piston, the way it's firing, and why, the voltage that's going into the spark plug, when it fires, how it fires. It gives me the graph." I'm like, "This is awesome." The guy didn't even know he could do all that.
Oh yeah,
come to find out,
they'll give you like a power balance on the screen, plus misfires, all that stuff. It's pretty cool.
It was awesome, man. I was able to diagnose that oil, that his seals were starting to go bad, and just a little bit of oil was going into the spark plugs. We pulled out each spark plug, and they didn't believe me. And I'm like, "Look, smell it, bro, smell it." And
they'll tell you a lot.
Yeah, I proved it.
Gas burns, oil fouled, or they'll dry. They get too hot. So yeah, spark plugs will tell you a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying earlier. The Dale Lucid to check his spark plugs. I guess Grimmy thought I was joking.
No, you should pull your spark plugs out. That's why. That's why,
Grimmy, in your face.
That's why there's this like myth of like whenever your car or your snowblower or tractor acts up, just go change the spark plug. I don't know what it is with people. All of a sudden, "Oh, I know what's wrong. I'll change the spark plug." It's like, no, man, your gasoline's bad or something's going on.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many variables. You know what I mean? It could be a foul fuel injector. It's there's a lot of variables.
Yeah, man. So the point being with that story was this guy spent all that money for that awesome tester, didn't know how to use it. So back to Jehu's statement, you don't got to spend all kinds of money, man. If you don't know what you're doing and you're going to look at a reader and you're not going to know it from sideways, go to AutoZone, go to O'Reilly's, tell them to just read it for you. Get those codes, call up a friend, or your best friend is the internet. Throw those codes in the internet. It'll give you an idea of what it could be, and you'll have a decent conversation with your mechanic. That's the thing, man. A lot of people are looking at, looking at these tools. They go to AutoZone and they'll give me the $300 reader, right? And I'm like, dude, you just bought a piece of junk. Why would you buy that? No, why did you buy that? I saw. I'm not gonna say his name, but I was watching a stream and somebody held up the reader that they use, and I looked at that thing and said, "Man, that thing's a piece of junk. Why would you ever buy that?"
And see, that's the problem that I have sometimes is you see someone, with 2,000, 3,000 subscribers, holding something up, and a lot of people turn around and run straight to the store and go get it.
Yeah, and something, and what ends up happening is you get a whole pile of pieces of junk, and I mean you can put them up on a damn Christmas tree. You know what I mean? A big Christmas tree.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure everybody understands. I'm not picking on anybody. I personally would not have purchased that. I just would never, ever, ever purchased it. It is the equivalent of what Harbor Freight is selling, the Zeus and all these other things. That's basically what was being shown, and I was like, man, Harbor Freight made this deal with that manufacturer that makes those code readers, and yeah, they do some graphing, they do some cool stuff, but Harbor Freight went also and kind of edited some of the things that it could do, so it's not the same exact tool from that manufacturer. What I'm not crazy about is that tool, anyways. Before it went to Harbor Freight, was not one of my favorites. It did not have forever updates. It did not have upgrades in the software, like complete OS upgrades. It didn't have a lot of things. And when I was thinking about it, for the same amount of money, I basically got a decent Autel that I can plug it on my computer and download all the data. You really couldn't do it.
And I bet you ask yourself one thing, you're probably like, all right, did this thing do what it needed to do? And then once you figured that out, you're like, man, I got myself a nice scanner here.
Yeah, exactly. So I love my scanner. Maybe I'm being too harsh on the idea of other scanners, but I'm one of those guys that, like, I like a tool, I like a specific brand, kind of stick with it as long as they keep up with my expectations. Which gets me into the next conversation, guys. So let's talk. We don't need to keep going on code readers. Craftsman, right? Craftsman for me. I want to change the subject on you guys.
I got a
Craftsman.
Craftsman. There's a lot of talk out here, right? With Craftsman changed over to the Chinese company or Taiwanese company that's making their new Craftsman ratchets and other tools, and a lot of people feel all kinds of ways, right? There's a lot of feelings on this. Here's my opinion, and I'd like for you guys to weigh in with your opinions. Here's my opinion, okay? When I purchased that Craftsman ratchet and those Craftsman wrenches and stuff, and yes, they weren't the best, and they had the gnarly ends that kind of didn't feel good in my hand. But here's the thing: we made a pact, we made a promise, we made an agreement, we made a contract. You said that if that ever broke, you would replace it for exactly the same thing for life. And when I heard life, I figured my life. I get it. If I was walking in there and it was my dad's ratchet, and you would be like, nah, man, we can't warranty it no more, man. That's your dad's ratchet. We said life. We meant his life, right? Okay, maybe. But some say that it's the life of the ratchet. Okay, well, that ratchet doesn't break very often. It lasts forever. So then that's a forever warranty. Now you're trying to replace it with this Chinese, not very well made, for my opinion. And worst of all, you're taking away the sentimental value of the way the ratchet looks, feels, and yes, it's not pretty chrome. And I've seen some guys test ratchets, and they say that actually the Taiwanese or the Chinese ones were actually performing better. Well, here's my thought on that. Maybe so. You're right. Maybe it performed better. But this is Grandpa's ratchet. This is Dad's ratchet. The reason why I got into Craftsman is because I saw that ratchet and I saw my beloved, patriarch use that, and that's why I bought that brand. And when I want a warranty of it, I want the same exact thing, because every time I hold that tool, I want to remember that patriarch in my family. That's my opinion, and that's where I stand on it. Yes, you could. I'll buy the new Craftsman and I'll use it and I'll warranty it all day long. But I feel about it the same way I feel about a Harbor Freight ratchet, where if it breaks, I'll take it right back. There's no sentimental value there. With Craftsman, there was an agreement and a sentimental value with it. That's my position.
I gotta say one thing. I don't have to say absolutely anything about that, because you just said everything I would have said.
So let me compare that. Let me compare that to a lot of the places that I went to go eat with my dad, with my grandfather, those places have now changed their food. And even though there's still that sentimental value there, dude, I don't eat there no more. So when you're looking at the Craftsman tools, sorry, if you're not going to live up to your warranties, then I'm not going to use it anymore. I mean, and like you said, to your point on one time, or I heard somebody say, I'm not going to give up my made in the USA ratchet. You know, I'm not going to give up my dad's ratchet so you can give me some other person's ratchet, you know, of lesser quality. So I guess you're just stuck with broken tools, man.
No, you're not. You're not. And you did hear that from me, and I did say that in a stream. Here's what I said, that you can go ahead. I bought the parts on eBay and I repaired my ratchet myself. I kept the body. Okay, Craftsman, you're not going to warranty it? Forget you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my tools away. You already got my money. I used those tools for 20 years. I get it. We're even. But whenever those tools break, I will fix them. But from now on, I'm shopping at Harbor Freight for those kind of tools. And if they break, I just take them back to Harbor Freight and I get a replacement and I don't even think about it. Or if I need something really good, then yes, I'll look at Matco, or I'll look at Snap-on, or I'll look at the bigger brands and Gear Wrench. Everybody, Gear Wrench. I like Gear Wrench. I'll look at them and use that. But Craftsman is very low on my list.
Yeah. And I want to point out the heavy machinery. Yeah, those tools from our fathers, from our grandfathers, that means a whole lot to us. But now, what would you do if someone wanted to take your dad's tool, the old tool that he used, and instead of fixing it and giving it back to you, they gave you something of lesser quality that didn't belong to your father? I'm pretty sure you'd be upset about that, you know? So that's why if you can't find a kit, you're just going to end up with a broken tool that used to belong to your dad or your grandfather.
Or it's got to at least look like that tool, right? It's got to be exactly made like that tool. So when I used to go into Sears, I'd give them the broken screwdriver. They'd give me one back, and it looked just like it. And that's what I expect.
To be honest with you, too, it's almost like a good analogy would be like if Craftsman Sears would be like, yeah, here's a delicious steak, and then all of a sudden here's your replacement steak, and it's you know, it looks like a piece of charcoal, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Sears, I was a big Sears guy. Oh my God. Every few weekends, I'd be like, hun, I got to go to Sears. She's like, oh my God. I had everything Craftsman, snowblower. I mean, you name it. Craftsman. I should have worn it. I got a Craftsman hat with the two LEDs when LEDs were like just coming out. I don't feel like that about Craftsman anymore. Craftsman broke my heart. That's how I feel. And I actually went to warranty something. I went to Lowe's, I went to Ace, and they told me, we will not warranty that. That was not purchased at this store. And I said, it's Craftsman. You're supposed to give me another one back. Yes. And they said, no, we don't do that.
Yes.
Go to Sears. And I'm like, yeah, but all the Sears are closed. They're like, well, we don't do that. Okay. All right. So I wrote an email to Craftsman. I found their webpage, wrote an email, and I escalated it up to a senior vice president up there. And I said, hey, here's how I feel about it. In about 2 weeks' time, I got an email saying, please send us pictures of your tool, your broken tools. I sent them the pictures. A week later, I had brand new tools, but they were the Chinese ones. Yeah. They sent me replacements, but they didn't even ask for my tool back. They said, keep your old tools for whatever sentimental value you want. Here's the new tool replacements. We will never replace those tools again. So do not try to bring them back.
Terrible.
Okay. Yeah. Terrible. That's when I found Harbor Freight, guys. Yep. And then I started making, like 3 years later, I started making videos. Because Harbor Freight, I couldn't believe it. I got the feeling from Sears. And yes, I know before everybody out there in the comments or someplace else starts saying, Ed, but it's cheap Chinese junk. Look, man, I need that understanding that if I go under a car and I break it into pieces, that I can go back to the store, hand it to the manager. He's not going to flinch and give me one back. And you know what? Every single time he has. And I've broken some of them on purpose.
Yeah, and not only sockets or ratchets, but look at Grimmy's latest video. Grimmy took back the Herc saw. You know what I'm saying? And I hope they don't see his video and then ask him for the new one back. But he got it exchanged. That's awesome. You know, you can't beat that. You know.
Man, Grimmy, I got to catch up on your videos, bro. I'm sorry, I have not seen that. I got to check it out this weekend. Dude, that's awesome. You got that replaced? That's it. That's what I want. And I had somebody in my comments of one of my videos say, well, yeah, when a tool costs 10 cents to make, well, who cares how many times they replace it? And I'm like, man, that's ignorant. But I understand the point that you're trying to make, that once you purchase that tool, it was so cheap to make, and the profit that they made from it, they make a mathematical algorithm that suggests that you may possibly break that tool 3 times in your lifetime, or the lifetime of the tool. So if they replace it 3 times, their profit margins are, you know, kind of okay or steady or even at that point. I could see that, but with today's market and the way things go, no way, man. They don't. I don't think they want the tools to break. I mean, there's some Harbor Freight stuff that belongs to go. You know, it should go straight into the trash. Should have never been made. But like there's some other Harbor Freight, like their vices.
Do not buy Harbor Freight vices.
There's a lot of good stuff that they make that is just like, oh my God, like, man, I'm telling you guys, I'm making this video. So if you guys want to make that video too, you should. I'm going to do my top 5 favorite Harbor Freight tools. I know it's a dead meme. Everybody's done it. Look, I want to talk about my top 5, and there's specific tools in there that just make total sense, man.
You know, better not be any jack stands.
One of my videos, what I mentioned is, you know, they'll put out a lot of junk, like Ed said, you know. But then on the other hand, they're trying to get a little bit out the icon stuff, and some of it I could say thumbs up, and some of it I'd like to see. And on one of my videos, I actually like to see them make the you guys, I know you guys have seen this one, the open end and flint and wrenches. Now, yeah, that's a nice tool. I don't understand why they're not doing that with the icon line. You know, pretty interesting to me.
Maybe it's in the pipeline.
It could be. It could be.
Who knows?
Because go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you know, a lot of things got held back right now. So a lot of things that were supposed to come out haven't come out due to this little situation, COVID. So we'll see what happens when it clears up.
Yeah, I mean, Catus Maximus did a video on like the Garand style long patent double ends, and those look pretty good. But man, they want too much money for them.
I think Icon fails on one thing, and I don't know how many of my videos you've had a chance to see, Joe. Yeah. But I did a video where I talked about, should you buy the Icon, or should you buy, should you upgrade to Icon or stay with Pittsburgh Pro? Mm-hmm. When you're talking about dollars for dollars, when I stress test those ratchets, mm-hmm, the Pittsburgh Pro was only about what 10 pounds of torque off.
Yeah, that's not much.
That's not much, man.
No, that's not. That's not much.
That's a stress test. And stress tests, again, there was a stream, they were talking about how scientific they were getting, and I understand that they're trying to be as scientific as possible. But unfortunately, it's kind of a tough thing to be scientific of how a ratchet breaks, because it can be broken in all kinds of ways, right? You put a pipe on it, you don't put a pipe on it, you hold it on the long way, you hold it on the there's to break a ratchet and make it scientific, you need the ratchet to be shaped the same way every single time, put pressure in the same exact spot, and put the same pounds per pressure in the same way, same shape. Avi invented a machine where he's actually putting pounds per torque of pressure through an air machine into the ratchet in the same location on every single ratchet every single time. And he even had trouble being 100% scientific. Again, this does not mean it's not scientific. It is scientific. It's as scientific as you can get. There are degrees of being scientific. And my tests were just silly, half-baked science, because, and that's why I'm making this point. I'm not necessarily saying that, you got to look at my video and it's exactly. No, I could have put too much pressure on that pipe on one angle versus another. There's all kinds of things that could have technically gone wrong, and it broke. But the few times that I did it, the Pittsburgh Pro was not that off from the Icon. And right now, dollar for dollar, I would buy the Icon right now. I'm sorry, the Pittsburgh Pro over the Icon.
Yeah, especially the breaker bars.
Yeah.
But then think about this too. Don't forget, Ed, and I think this is super important. When we're saying that the ratchet broke, a lot of the times we're not talking about the ratcheting mechanism. All we're talking about is what do they call it? The little 1/4 inch, the 3/8 inch, the drive part. That's what breaks. That's what shears off, and that can be changed. So you're really not breaking the ratchet mechanism. You see what I'm saying? So if you want to get scientific about it, then you're really not breaking a ratchet. All you're doing is breaking that one part. But I mean, it all depends on how you define it, right? What we're saying?
Yeah, you're trying to put enough pressure or stress on the ratchet for it to finally break, or a piece of it to break to render it unusable. And what breaks on the ratchet is the interesting part. That's what I find interesting. No matter who breaks ratchets, no matter who or how they do it, it's what's interesting, because some companies will skimp on the gear, some will skimp on the anvil, some will skimp on the pawl. You have to really look at who and what they're really skimping on. Some will put a cheap bearing in there or a cheap spring. When you find that out, you could say, oh, wow, these guys really put a lot of thought in it. Again, like for me, the 120 XPs, I don't know why everybody's saying that they like the 90 tooth ratchet more. I like the 120 XPs. I have found those things to be almost indestructible. I love them. I love them. I love them. And but for everyday use, beat them up, lose. Joe, you were talking about being in the shop working on 3 cars at once, running back and forth, trying to get things done. Man, that's what Pittsburgh Pro's right there for, man. Who cares if you break a ratchet, lose a ratchet, leave it in the customer's car? Walk away with it. I don't care. I'll buy another one.
I'll tell you something. That's happened to me before. Actually, 2 occasions. One time, I was doing an alignment, and I think it was with the Pittsburgh Pro breaker bar. I had to loosen up some cam adjustments on I think it was a Toyota SUV. Ended up oiling it up, loosening it. All of a sudden, I'm loosening it back and forth, and I'm putting all my weight into it, and I'm a couple of 100 pounds. Snap, and then same thing with doesn't matter. I was doing it with a long-handled snap-on ratchet. It's a different car, and the head just went across the shop.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Joe, let me ask this question, because everybody talks about busted knuckles. Don't you wear gloves, man? I
do, but most of the time they rip, or like and when they the oil. If I'm doing an oil change, sometimes the oil will go in the glove, and so sometimes I do it barehanded, sometimes I wear gloves, depending on the situation.
That's an interesting question that you asked, Ed, because I just talked to my uncle, and I'm planning to have who, by the way, he's been working on transmission, and he's been a mechanic for 40 years. So that idea that I gave you, Joe, that's what I want to do with my uncle, but we want to kind of do it in Spanish, kind of bilingual. Some little idea that Ed had thrown my way. But I want to get his idea on that, because it's funny that was the thing that he mentioned to me. As soon as I started talking to him about ratchets, he's like, "Oh, well, do you love your knuckles? Do you love?" And I started laughing. I'm like, "That's hilarious," because that's like go-to answer whenever someone wants to defend these shiny tool brands. They're like, "Oh, well,
okay."
Go ahead.
So, Jay, and this is what I would love to. And when I see your uncle, cuando lo vea, le voy a preguntar esto. When I see him, I'm going to ask him this, dude. If you're putting any more than 50 pounds of torque or pressure on that ratchet, at that point, it starts becoming humanly difficult without a breaker bar, without some type of pipe, without, at least in my. Maybe he's stronger than I am. Maybe he's bigger than I am. I don't know. But if you start putting more than that level of strength on a 3/8 ratchet, you need to stop and you need to say, wait a minute, hold on. Let me go get some gloves. Let me go get a pipe. Let me stay away from this thing while I do this. Who doesn't do that? And I mean, it's just work safety, right? Like, you have to think about it. You have to say, wait a minute, what I'm about to do could be potentially dangerous. I'm going to hurt myself. Better stop. Let me rethink this, and then go do it. I've seen a lot of guys just go in there, and the car will be on sometimes. They don't care, And they don't care. I saw a guy one time take the oh man, I'm sorry, Joe. You're gonna have to remind me, bro. What's the black piece where the air goes into? That's underneath the fuel. The fuel lines. What is that thing called? I want to say the manifold. I'm not saying it right.
Plastic intake manifold.
Yeah, the plastic intake manifold. Thank you. That's what I'm thinking of. On some of these cars, they have plastic intake manifolds.
Yeah, cars. Especially when it gets hot.
Yeah, it's horrible, horrible. Some of these guys, I've seen mechanics, cars on, and they start taking that thing off.
Not to mention, it's like a toilet. I mean, if you over tighten those nuts, crack right down the middle. See you later.
Absolutely. So they're sitting there, and they get their friggin' snap-on wrench because they got to have snap-on, and they're like, and I'm like, dude, the car's on. Oh, that's okay. It's okay. It don't break. Nothing happens.
No, I guess so. That's the difference from paying $10 an hour for a mechanic than $65 an hour for a mechanic. I would hope so.
That does make a difference, man. That does make a difference. What's sometimes sad is sometimes you get a outstanding technician in a shop that it's like, like say like bad management and low pay, all different other types of things, that's the other spectrum,
Darian Robinson, welcome, son. Welcome. 12:35. Yes, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Darian. Thanks for joining us,
bro. You got your Dunkin' Donuts? He says he says that's his staple. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, Grimute makes a good point. He's like, wrenches are different than ratchets. I've had wrenches slip. I've had wrenches break. Yeah, man, absolutely. I will agree with you 100%. Wrenches, you got to be careful what you get. Ratchets are a little bit of a different story, but I would say this. Wrenches, you got to know that once you get to a certain, like you're putting a certain amount of strength on it, you got to know when to move to that better wrench, or you need to stop and move to a ratchet. Now, before you tell me, I know there's situations where a ratchet's not going to fit or something's not going to, so you got to go with that wrench and you got to trust it. Yeah, man, at that point, yeah, you need your good Snap-on wrenches, or you need your good, like, whatever brand that you really trust. You need that. But I ask again, do you not wear gloves? Like, there's like, they even have like special mechanics gloves that have the extra raised transformer looking plastic on the top, so in case you hit your knuckles, you don't completely destroy them.
I'll answer that question also, and this is thanks to my uncle who showed me this trick. Whenever I get into a tight jam with a wrench, he's always told me to make sure that it's open end on both sides. You use a wrench that's open end on one side, on both sides, and then grab another wrench that has the closed end, the box end, and you kind of loop it around the other open end, and you use that as torque.
That's an old mechanic trick right there.
Yeah. So ever since he taught me that trick, I stopped busting my knuckles because you actually get a little bit more torque on it. So that's what I've done to avoid busting knuckles and not wear gloves.
Yeah. Darian says he goes to the 0 degree XL offset box ends wrenches when he gets into tight situations like that. And yeah, Darian, you're right. You can absolutely do that. So Darian, to catch you up, we're talking about busted knuckles and how some people think that they're always going to bust the knuckle because they didn't buy Snap-on. Anybody that doesn't buy Snap-on is going to break their knuckles. Joe, you own Snap-on. I know you do, and you own Mac and others. How many times you busted your knuckles?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, and it's crazy because like I was doing an alignment with the Cornwell wrench. It was a 15 millimeter long pattern wrench, which also raises the point. Is someday I'd like to show you guys a broken tools video and show you all different like brakes and stuff like that haven't been warranted. Might be pretty interesting. I don't know. But
that sounds cool.
I actually have one that it's going to be a box of warranties. I think it's 24 pieces all together. It had screwdrivers and sockets and big ratchets, small ones, all different types of things. But I might do one of that too. But if for some reason there's using an open-end long pattern wrench, Cornwell, and doing alignment. I was just adjusting one of the sleeves, and the whole top of the wrench just completely snapped off. So it was just half of the open end was left. That was a Cornwell wrench.
Cornwell, yeah, wow. Yep. Well, those collect rust when you don't use them, according to Grimmute's videos.
I wasn't even using a pipe, but I thought I was using a pipe that would do it, but I was just using my bare hands.
Your hands?
It just luckily my hand wasn't like gonna like punch the top of like the bottom of the motor, but just in the sleeve, and I'm like, oh, and then all of a sudden the top of the wrench just flew right off,
Wow. And you said that was a 15 millimeter?
15 millimeter Cornwell wrench. It was the
wow.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah, man. Wow.
It was crazy. I couldn't believe it either.
Hey, Joe. So just to the what you're using to record, is it an iPhone?
Oh, my usual videos.
Yeah,
is the action cam.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you do have an iPhone, don't you?
I do, but it's real old, and not just that, but it hasn't been set up for anything really. So okay. There's no internet on it or anything like that really.
Oh, all right. Because I was gonna say, if you can at least cheat and use the Wi-Fi, try to download. See if you can download the iMovie app and play with that. So what you could probably do is, if that works for you, transfer, if you can somehow, maybe through email or AirDrop. I don't know if it's AirDrop or email. Try to get your videos on that phone and then edit off of the phone. Because I love iMovie. I think it's. I mean, yes, I'm limited to what I can do, but the editing is so easy on that thing for me.
Man, I there's been a couple videos that Jay Who did that I got a little frustrated because I put a lot of time into my videos to edit and stuff, and he did it all in iMovie, and he did such a great job. I was sitting there going like, dude, how did you do that? That is so good. And I'm over here spending hours on my editing, and he's like, oh man, it took me 20 minutes. All I had to do was this and this and this. It's like so unfair. But
yeah, it takes longer to load to YouTube than it actually does to edit a video for me. So it actually drives me insane sometimes when I'm trying to upload to YouTube, and maybe because I am using the phone, it takes such a long time. But I've had to wait up to an hour and a half for an 8-minute video.
Yeah, and if you can look at if you want to look at upgrading your iPhone to, man, they got the newer iPhones have some of the best camera and video recording stuff out there, man. It is. My next, by the way, my next phone is going to be the new Note 20 Deluxe or whatever they're going to call it, and Ultra. I don't know. I'm going to get that, and I'm going to start recording on that. Hopefully, it records great.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm trying to. My wife has got the new iPhone. I think it's the 11 Pro, and I've been dying to record a video off of her phone because she's got the night vision too. So I want to check out that night vision, see how that comes out.
Wait, which one does she have?
The 11.
Which one does she have, Jay?
11
the 11 Pro.
Yeah, the one with the three cameras.
Yeah, the one with the 3 cameras in the back, man, dude. Yeah, bro.
So I'm actually thinking of doing something off of that, but we'll see what happens.
You should. I would tell her, hey, I need to trade phones with you. Like, I do YouTube on mine. You don't do YouTube on yours. You don't need it.
We'll see how that goes. It might see me with a black eye on the next video.
He'll be. What do they call that? Oh man. Oh, what do they call that? Oh yeah, that's right. You're gonna be Jay Domestic Violence. I'm Jay Domestic Violence. Let me tell you what happened to me. I tried to use my wife's iPhone for YouTube, and yeah. Let's see here. Let's check out these comments real quick. I know. Oh man, Heavy Machinery is joining in with Grimute on the whole tool rust. Oh man, they do not like Cornwell. I don't have any Cornwell, so I can't speak to it. Grimute is using iMovie. He says it's quick, and he uses an iPhone 10 Max. So he said he checked out the 11 Pro. The only difference is that the 11 does like a fisheye. That's it. I don't know. Is that you sure about that, man? I think they have a better camera, and they actually have better camera software with their whole HDR or whatever software that goes ahead and like does the cleaning up the video background and the colors. So it actually, the software starts predicting and correcting the picture that even if it's video, it corrects it and makes it prettier. Some of the pictures I've seen with it kind of outpace many other phones out there.
Well, I'll let you guys know for sure once I hijack this phone from the wife. Do a video. I'll put it at the beginning of the video.
Man, dude, the new iPhone's about to come out. Why don't you just upgrade? It's that time.
Yeah, I probably will. I know, like you said, upgrade. It's that time, and then my younger daughter, since she's the reason I have the iPhone anyway, I'll probably get in contact with her, and if she wants to upgrade, then then I'll go in there and upgrade with her.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
because the
I'm
only
gonna
reason I
upgrade
got
to.
my iPhone, it was buy one get one free, so I got the free one and she had to pay for hers.
So Grimute says that his does that, man. I'm gonna double check that, man. I'll look into the stats and because if if you're right and the iPhone 10 and the iPhone 11 don't have any difference with the exception of that fisheye thing that they do, then I'd be pretty mad at Apple.
Well,
for coming out.
Grimute does have the 10 Max. Now I just have the 10 regular, but he's got the 10 Max, so his phone is better than mine. So because he's got the Max, I would say he's probably right. But the 11 does have, if you're gonna record something at night, so. Yeah, and Darian Robinson, you're absolutely right. Sophisticated cameras, a lot of actually, Darian Robinson, if you don't know, that is me and Ed. We're neighbors actually. We don't live too far away, but that's one of Ed's biggest pet peeves with me and being on YouTube is I am spending no money whatsoever. I mean, that's why my sound probably sounds horrible right now. But I spend no money into any of this production.
Yeah. Look. Yes, I at some point I'm gonna dump into a Canon or dump into a Nikon body and start really upgrading my game. But you know what? The way I've decided to do that is I'm not gonna make that level of video until I'm monetized because it costs way too much money. Right now I've got I think a Nikon D something 10 or whatever. It's kind of D510, I think it is. It's kind of it takes awesome pictures. It's not really made for YouTube videoing. So I'd have to upgrade, and I'd have to upgrade heavy. That just the body because I've got the lenses for it. I've got the glass, but man, to learn how to do all that stuff, man, I kind of don't want to get into all that.
But you're
I
a
like
techie.
doing my
You're
phone.
an engineer. You love it.
No, man, I may be an engineer and I may be in the technology space, but that technology is specific, right? It's kind of like, okay, Joe's into mechanics. That don't mean he works on semis, man. Right? Now I don't know if you do, Joe, but I don't. It sounds like you work on vehicles.
No, not that. Not like that.
That's a whole new ballgame.
Oh, yeah.
All right, heavy machinery. Have a good day, I guess, because it's the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And actually, too, I just looked at the time. I didn't know it was that late.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to sign off as well.
Right.
But before I leave, Joe, thanks again. As you can tell,
sure.
Ed and I are here to help as much as we can.
Yeah.
You obviously have our support. One of the biggest things that Ed and I wanted to do from day one is just find smaller channels and just try to, work our way up, The only other advice I can give you is for as long as you can, just continue to reach out to those who comment on your channels. Something very cool just happened. There's a guy out in Cambodia, and I gave a shout out to his channel. I gave him some advice on some things, and he found one of my salsa recipes, and he actually made his version of my salsa in Cambodia. So now I got a little following out in Cambodia. So It's great. I think that's the way to do it.
There's a lot of love with the smaller channels, and that's why you guys are great,
Yeah, and again, Darian Robinson, support breeds support. That's what it's about. And the other thing too is that this is, I guess, we didn't have this. Well, I didn't have this in mind, but we're actually kind of breaking barriers, right? Because we're getting to see people from Boston. We're getting to see people from Vegas. We're talking to white people. We're talking to black people. We're talking to Cambodians. We're talking to Mexicans. And that's what it's about. If you can find something and just hang out, then, we're making the world a better place little by little.
100%. 100% on board with that.
Yeah, not too many channels out there reached out to us to support us, and
because I mean, we all have something nice to provide, you know.
yeah, exactly. Look, the life experiences that you've had, Joe, you've only had them. That's what makes you a unique person. That's what we want to see out of your YouTube channel. I'm hoping people want to see that out of my YouTube channel. And uh-huh.
That's exactly where, you know. I mean, that's a good thing.
Yeah. So Jay, who makes a very good point. We want to support the smaller channels so that, you know, number one, my selfish reason was nobody supported me, and I saw some of the things that I wish others would have done for me. So whenever I see things like that, the way I handle it is I will do it for somebody else, because that way they hopefully pass it on forward to the next guy. I know there's a lot of thoughts, there's a lot of thinking here about competition, because everybody thinks that there's this limited pool of money that you can make on YouTube, and that you're not going to make on YouTube if another YouTuber gets up there. You know what? People got to get off that horse, man.
It wouldn't matter if you guys both had 10 million subscribers and I had 2. It wouldn't matter, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
See it, you know?
Yeah, exactly, man. That's, you know, you just got to help each other out and just grow it, because it's different content, really. If you look at my channel, it's very different from yours. It's very different from Jay Who's. It's very different from Justin Dow's. It's very different from... We all got our styles. We all got our thing. And you know what? People want to watch you, they watch you. If they don't want to watch you, they won't watch you. That's it. Don't... But, man, I have to say I really appreciate you inviting us to come and chat with you on your first live stream.
Yeah, man, and I'd like to do it again. So I'm thinking maybe, you know, next time you know, your convenience, we could shoot another one sometime.
Yeah, you gotta have that box ready. Have that box ready of broken tools. I want to hear the stories of how you broke them. I think people would love that. It's
still actually out there. They were sent out to warranty maybe sometime in June. So his dealer said he's got most of the stuff from Snap-on. It was all Snap-on, by the way, because I didn't have a dealer. So 24 items, and he said he's got most of the stuff. So he's gonna drop it off, you know, at the shop at some point. But you know, then they're gonna just tell him I'm somewhere else. But it's coming. It's coming.
Cool.
You know?
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna sign out. Peace, love, and happiness. Everybody be safe. Everybody have a good day. And thanks again for having me on, bro.
You too, Jay. It was nice having you, man.
All right. Peace.
Peace, man.
Take care, bro. Hey, did he drop off? I think I still see his picture. There he is. Oh, there he is. Okay. Yeah, man. Jay Who said it. We don't live too far from each other. We're basically neighbors. We're buddies, bro. And I think we really enjoyed having each other's support to build a channel, because, man, we even had our families kind of dogging us about the channel.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know if you got your wife or family telling you, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, I do.
Look, we got the same thing, and I was glad to have, you know, Jay Who, even though, I mean, we know each other personally, to just have somebody I could talk to about the channel and talk about, like, hey, this is how we're doing it, and grow with him, right? So I think we started out wanting to provide that support to other YouTubers, and, you know, we started feeling sometimes we're like, when we talked to certain YouTubers, they were very guarded because, you know, maybe they thought we were trying to steal their game or whatever. And I don't know, or maybe I'm assuming. I don't know. There was a feeling of some type of guards or shields coming up. So we stepped back, and I think they've caught on and said, "Oh, these guys are just doing it for fun. We're just having a good time."
Yeah.
And I always tell people, man, if you got a channel and you wanna promote your channel, subscribe to me, leave me a few comments, tell me you want my support. I'll help you with whatever I can, man. I mean, you've seen me help out with whatever I can with your channel. I'll go in.
I appreciate it so much. You know,
I mean, man.
You know, you know, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You know what I mean? I have to say that does not happen.
Yeah, we got to stick together. All the little channels. Here's my thing, and Jay Who didn't get into it. And if there's still guys watching, Grimute says you already know. You got to know this thing is that Hollywood, Google, and all these other big corporations are investing millions on YouTubers or stars to become YouTubers, especially after coronavirus. They figured out that Hollywood is dying, movies are dying, all this stuff is just going away. And the little medium that all of us kind of had or have been watching to get entertainment that was for us, by us, that's what I keep saying. Now they're trying to invade that, man. And if I want to watch a Terminator movie, I want to watch stars, professional guys, you know, completely suck me into that universe and entertain me. When I watch YouTube, I want to see a real person. I want to see a guy doesn't necessarily know how to set up his camera very well, that talks and makes mistakes, but shares his life experience and his knowledge. I'll tell you what, like Grimute, I know he's on here watching. Man, that guy did this Office, man. I actually reached out to him and gave him a call or texted him. I can't remember what it was, and Grimute, I'm sorry, I can't remember. It's kind of late, but I told him, dude, that the work you did was beautiful. It was a work of art. Oh my God, you should have 1,000 times more the subscribers. This guy's a master craftsman, and that's what I'm watching YouTube for. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see some guy, you know, that's a professional show off his acting career. I get it.
You know something too, Ed? What I wanted to bring up too, we didn't get to it tonight, but there was some stuff I was gonna throw in the live stream, but I didn't get a chance to. So next time around, I think I'm gonna mix it up just a little bit.
Oh, you know? Okay, that's cool, man. You should think about bringing on some other channels with you too, because like Grimute says he doesn't want to show his face. I don't know why he keeps saying he doesn't want to show his face, but okay, if you don't want to show your face and you just want to be a voice, have a black screen. But that guy, again, I'm giving him props because I've seen his work. That guy could talk to you about saws, tools all day long. The guy knows a lot about. He looks like the kind of guy that could build a house if you just let him. So
there's a lot of talent out there, man. You know?
Yeah. That's the point of. And that's the point of YouTube, right? It's us, just normal guys, normal women, men, whatever, just sharing our lives and experiences with other people.
Yep.
And I don't want to see Will Smith, even if you come after me, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I don't want to see you on YouTube. Please get off of YouTube. Let it be the normal guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of there's so many different subjects and everything, you know. And it gets pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's my opinion, anyways. I could be wrong. You could tell me in the comments I'm wrong. I just don't want to see that, man. Those guys are.
I could say it wrong.
Yeah, those guys are pros, man. How is that fair to a guy like Joe Burgess that's starting out with with a camera?
Well, the thing is they couldn't tell you. Some of the stuff in our videos. It gets pretty interesting after a while.
Yeah, you got that star that played Captain Marvel in the Marvel movies. Mm-hmm. She started a YouTube channel in 3 days. In 3 days, they sent her the 100,000 subscriber button.
Yeah.
She didn't have to work for it, bro. She did not have to do one thing for it, man. She walked in there with a name, professional crew. Come on, man. Come on. That's not fair, man. We're over here fighting for every subscriber. Every time I lose a subscriber, I lose a heartbeat. Like I immediately, like I take a big gulp. Like, man, why did I lose that subscriber? I really wanted that subscriber.
I was at 17. I think I was down to 60, and I'm like, why? But it is what it is. Sometimes.
Of course, but you take it personal because you think you're doing the best you can, or providing the best product you can with what you have. Mm-hmm. So when somebody drops you, you're kind of like, dude, I did everything I could. Why'd you drop me? And what sucks is they won't even give you a comment as to why they dropped. It's like, dude, put a comment in there. Say, hey, for anybody watching that you want to unsubscribe from my channel, do me a favor. Put a note in there. You could say, hey, dude, I just don't like you. Or you could say, screw you, you insulted me by saying something. Or whatever you want to say. Give me an idea.
I had one come from my original channel to my new channel and dropped out. And same thing, no comment. I'm like, hey, who knows? So.
Yeah, so Darian Robinson has a comment here, and I want to read that. He says, what you are speaking about, and as far as what you are doing, is that they are tapping into people's creativity, because everything that you see nowadays is recycled ideas, and it's uninteresting now. I think he's talking about the Hollywood people and the Hollywood movies. He's right, man. Like, when they remake another movie, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, they said they're making the new Pirates of the Caribbean, but they're making it with an all-female cast. Dude, I already saw that movie. I don't want to see it again. Come up with something new. I don't want to see that, right? So guess where there's new talent? Guess where people are being tested and grown? YouTube, man. YouTube. You got, here's Joe Burgess. Probably never, been a movie star or nothing in his life. He's starting out,
Absolutely.
Untapped raw talent. You know what kills them? And I know it kills them. They're looking at their movie that had, 500,000 views or whatever, and they go into some dorky YouTuber that's 30 years old, and he's got 1,000,005 views on his videos. And it kills them. So now they got to tap into that. But that isn't fair, because this platform, and Google should know this, man. That's where I'm a little, kind of tiffed with Google and YouTube. Come on, man. You invented this platform originally for it to be YouTube for people, for us, by us. I continue to say that. And when I say for us, by us, I'm not talking about race, color, or creed. I'm saying for us, normal, everyday people.
Exactly.
Right?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Come on. All of us have different opinions. They may be right, they may be wrong, but we share them here on this medium. When you start invading it with these big movie stars and these big companies, it's not what it was anymore. It isn't. You even look at some of these channels that go pro. They go full on pro. Their style changes. Here's what I've heard from a couple channels, Joe, and here's what you're going to have to kind of catch on to, is that some of these channels have to do the same thing over and over and over again, because if they don't, they lose subscribers. Subscribers subscribe to them because they want to see them do the same thing, whether that's breaking ratchets, whether that's building cars. Like, think about Chris Fix. Chris Fix always has to fix cars. I'm sure one day he wants to do something different. And when he does do something different, he's not getting the same amount of views or the same amount of subscribers. So he's got to go run and fix cars again, right? True. That's a major challenge for a YouTuber when you want to be creative, and you got into this medium to continue being creative. You didn't get here to just, fix cars all the time. You do that at work. You want to keep getting creative and do different things.
Yeah, that's why I did a few other ones, to break it up a little bit,
Yeah. So that's what kind of frustrates me about Hollywood. It's like, guys, you're recycling this crap. You're gonna come on YouTube and recycle the same crap, and you're just gonna do the same thing over and over and over again. And even worse, You're gonna inject your thinking, your Hollywood stuff that's not working in Hollywood. So now you're trying to put it on YouTube. We don't want it. We don't want it. And it kills me. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
Now, Ed, a question for you. As far as now, with information for the live stream, if we were to do another one, would people jump on and do another one? Like
who?
Would you with the information, or you have to get new information every time? Like for another live stream, if we would do another one.
You mean that link that you sent me?
Yes. Do you have to do that every time?
You do. You do have to do that every time.
Okay.
And then when you do it, you see where it says copy the link. You copy that link, and then you kind of write the email, and then in the body of the email you do right click paste.
Okay.
And I know you're doing that on a Mac, so it's a little different on a Mac, but basically the same thing. You just paste it in there and email that out. You could email that to whomever you want. So like, let's say you wanted Grim to jump on at some point. You send it to Grim, you send it to me, you send it to Jehu, and then you could cycle us in and out. You know, you could just tell us, hey, go wait in the green room. When it's your turn, I'll bring you in. When it's not your turn, you know, when it's time for you to go, I'll let you know, and then I'll bring in the next guy. I mean, as long as they all have the link, they can all jump in and out.
Because I figured it's getting kind of late, you know what I mean? And figured next time around we'll do it again. Maybe just name a time again.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's all.
No, I get it. I get it, man. And I know I'm not as entertaining as I usually would be. I'm getting sleepy myself.
No, with that, it's just the time it is.
Yeah, understood, bro. Understood.
You know
okay, man.
Nothing to do with that, because absolutely nothing to do with that. You know, just the time.
Got it, my friend. Got it. All right, buddy. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. You take care, bro.
You too, and we'll do it again soon. I just don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it like through text or something.
Yeah, you could text me. And look, man, if you want to do it again, yeah, text me. We'll come up with some dates and times. It'd be cool to bring Jehu back on too. If it's up to you though, you don't have to.
It was fun. Definitely.
Yeah, see if you can bring Dale Lucid on too, man. You got to bring that guy on. He's crazy. All right, man. All right, buddy.
So we'll I'll shoot you a text, and then we'll talk about it. You know, and
okay.
I'll probably do it a lot earlier because I kind of goofed up on the time. You know, I didn't realize the computer time is way later than the actual time. So that's how I think I'd end up being so late. You know. Hey,
man, no problem at all, dude. No problem at all. I'm cool with it. Actually, this worked out for me.
Cool. But I'll definitely text you and we'll come up with something. All
right, buddy. Well, you take care. Everybody, thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate you all.
Thank you so much for being on.
All right, man. This is Ed the Old Tech Guy signing out.
Joe Burgess signing out.